or metrokiaofmadison.com. Three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde.
Is there anything anybody loves more than agreeing with Tausch?
Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher.
I got a hunch this isn't going to be concise either.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio.
I would say that you are pretty easygoing. You're actually probably more easygoing than I am.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Well, you're not easygoing at all.
Hey!
On 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Good morning. It's Wilde and Tausch here on ESPN Wisconsin. I don't have all of the additions that Jason Wilde has. We're efforting. I think we're having a little connection issue. We'll have Jason shortly, hopefully. I don't have any additions. I have a bunch of stuff I want to get to, including Ben Brust. Ben Brust is getting after me about a take I had yesterday that our defense made a bunch of that the Green Bay Packers defense made a bunch of strides and got a lot better. I don't know why that is a controversial take, but in Ben's world, and then he got his guys to jump on board, and then I believe a segment later they didn't. We'll get into that. I am fascinated by Nizer Forkarine and the college football landscape. I want to talk shop with everybody, our ESPN Milwaukee YouTube, all of our listeners. I'm fascinated to hear where everybody's at with that, because this is the new college football era. Guys are going to try to keep playing. Guys that aren't going to be pros are going to want to keep playing, and I'm not sure what college football is going to do about it, so I'm intrigued by that. And I'm also intrigued, Hunter Vaughn producing. I'm not sure why and how this all worked out, but Hunter was a Tuesday, Thursday guy this week, Hunter? Is that how this is all shaken out for you?
Yeah, Tuesday, Thursday, you'll have Riley Yauk again on Friday.
Youngster.
So, yeah, Jesse thought he'd have some fun with the way everything shook out for producers.
Yeah, well, he's done a nice job. When he's filled in, we obviously had Primetime Wooly yesterday, and I'll be honest with you. We have a bunch of calls on our air. This is Tausch, Wilde and Tausch. We're going to get started here. Jason, we'll get him figured out here shortly. We do a bunch of calls at our company. We have meetings and we do things that I think are fantastic. Content calls and digital calls, and we're always trying to improve. And I'm going to be honest with you. I reluctantly joined Twitter about 10 years ago. Matter of fact, I started jumping on Twitter when our show started. Wilde and Tausch started in the August, I believe, of 2015. So we will be 10 years old this July, because it says right on the thing. And yesterday I get on, and Evan Cohen joins our show on a regular basis. Tuesdays usually, it was Thursdays. And I get on the call, and Hunter, I don't think you were on this call yesterday, but he gets on, and 3 minutes into the call, they're talking about what your labels are on Twitter, what you put down. And at that point in time, I put down, I was not a Packer Hall of Famer when I started Twitter. I was not the color analyst for the radio show, or for the radio with Matt LePay. And so I had on Racket Enthusiast and some of the other stuff. So Evan Cohen puts out there, it is the worst Twitter bio of any GKB teammate at our company. That's the call in front of, we have a couple hundred people on this call. And I have to agree with him. You would have had no idea that I hosted a show on Good Karma Brands. You would have had no idea any of my professional things. You knew that I liked tennis, and I don't even know what else was on there. So, Hunter, when you get on one of these calls, somebody comes at you, but it's fair, are you all right with it?
I haven't had anybody really get after me. Apparently we do have Jason, though. I'm working on having him on video, so. You there,
Hi.
Jason? Hey,
nice of you to join us, Jason. You got me riffing here for 5 minutes on Twitter.
I've been here the whole time. I was actually introducing the show when you began introducing it, so I don't know what the technical glitches were, but yes, it's great to be with you. I thought your bio, by the way, was great when you put it together. The Racket Enthusiast is fantastic.
Yeah,
because it covers both your tennis and which you don't play anymore, I guess, and your pickleball skills. Yes, probably including the show is worthwhile. Although, again, I don't think a lot of people are clicking our bios, and people know who you are. And you are a Packers Hall of Famer now, but your guy Elon has certainly changed the dynamic of Twitter overall. I'm more concerned about this. Do we call it beef with KBN? Because I watched that, apparently more of it than other people did, and I got to be honest, I'm irritated for you.
Yeah. So before we get to that, if you're redoing my bio, because I just redid it. I take coaching, as you know, very strongly. Evan crushed me on the call, which was fair. So I did change it. What do you think the big things I would have to make sure I put on my bio? Before you look, Jason, what do you think are the things I need to put on there?
Well, Packers Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Wilde and Tausch.
Yes.
Your work as the analyst for the Badger Football Radio Network.
Yes. You have my bio up, don't you? I could tell. You got the bio up, don't you?
I don't. I can hold it up. I don't know where the camera is. I can hold it up. I don't have that. I actually have the rundown because I thought I was running the show today. Again, I don't know. Like, I can tell you what my bio is. You want to hear what mine is? I'm sure Evan would crush me for it, too.
All right, let's hear it.
Maddie/Sid's dad.
Okay.
Paula's husband. Stella, Sadie, Boomer, Luna, Sam, Pri, Sabrina, AJ's zookeeper.
How do you get that many characters?
Tausch's co-host. ESPN Wisconsin's/Wisconsin State Journal's Packers guy. Then the website that I have as my chosen link is wisconsinondemand.com.
Okay, so you've done, I think you did probably a pretty good job. You hit where you want to go, and I think the point of Evco yesterday was you're on social media not as your own dude. You're doing this as a way to get to your audience and to grow your audience. That's how I look at it. Because I had put down father, husband, all of that good stuff, and I ran out of characters. So the big thing was getting linked up and having the stuff up there. And you covered, for the most part, you covered the gist of what we have on there. So I think we've righted it. I'm assuming when Evan joins us next week, I'll revisit that and make sure he finds this the right way so that next time we do a digital call or a audio call, I don't get crushed in front of our teammates.
So are you no longer a racket enthusiast?
No, I am. So a little fun fact. I'll be heading up towards Green Bay tomorrow. I don't think you're even going to be up there, but we have a big opening of one of our pickleball operations, the Pickler. I am a part of that, so we put Pickler up there to make sure you can find our locations that we have started. We have 2 or 3 that are coming on board. Green Bay's grand opening is on Saturday, so I'll be up there for part of the weekend, and that has replaced Racket Enthusiast in my bio.
If you don't mind, can you tell me more about the Pickler?
Certainly, it is a so there's obviously pickleball has grown at a high clip throughout the country.
Yes,
and the Pickler is one of these franchises that has gotten started. They started kind of down south and out in Utah. And I was approached. That's one of my favorite states. It's my second favorite state. They wanted to get a presence in the state of Wisconsin, so we talked and have had discussions, and obviously I have joined their team, and so we are, putting a bunch of spots up in the state of Wisconsin, and our first one is going live Saturday up in Green Bay, kind of over by the off of Holmgren Way there. So I'll be up there playing pickleball for a couple of hours, and we'll, got a big ribbon cutting, and the mayor and all that good jazz are coming over there tomorrow.
Whoa. Ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
Given that this program on occasion has teased various folks who have had the ribbon cutting responsibilities, our former, now retired, good friend from AmFam, Dan Kelly, we teased him when it did not get executed. Are you nervous at all about your ribbon cutting skills?
Well, I'm not cutting the ribbon. I'm just
Why
there
not?
for the ribbon cutting. I'm doing a show. One of us has to work. So one of us has to actually do the show.
First of all,
Sarah may do it. We'll have our team from Pickler. That'll be up there. I will not be. First off, it's not rocket science. Dan made it a little tougher than he probably needed to, or the Packers gave him a dull scissors. I don't know who we want to lean on as far as who's right and wrong.
Probably both.
I don't think ribbon cutting is that hard. I think that's probably about as easy a gig as you're going to have.
Oh, now I really want you to do it, and then just see if it's as easy as you're presenting
see if I butcher it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, that's exciting. And it's on Holmgren Way.
I offered to have Jason play. I wanted Jason to play with me, but he has got other things he has to do. So I wanted to throw that out to him and to his crew. But unfortunately, that timing didn't work for young Jason Wilde.
Not so young Jason Wilde, but yes, we have a very busy weekend, and I'm actually off the show tomorrow because we're juggling some things. So I know you and Homer will be crushing it tomorrow on the show without me. Now, I'm excited for that, but I really want to hear your rebuttal on this KBN business because I did watch the entirety of that segment. They were highly critical of you, but then they kind of circled back to I don't understand what happened, frankly. Yeah. They basically experienced what I do, except I process it faster. The initial thought of Tausch doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Wait a minute. He actually does know what he's talking about. You know what?
You know, he's the disappointing part of that? Brust, I know Brust. Brust, first off, is a Bears guy. Like, he's been a Bears fan his whole life, and then he transported himself in. So, whatever.
So he's faking
Brust is going to do Brust things. Yeah, Brust is Brust. So he can say things, and that's fine.
God,
exactly, Coach. I couldn't agree more. But Nordy and Kyle just latched on, and it was embarrassing. Like, oh, yeah, Ben, that's a great point, Ben, yeah. And then Ben, a segment later, basically says what I said. Oh, the defense has gotten better. I didn't say they were going to win a Super Bowl. I said the defense played well enough to win. That's what I said, verbatim.
That is what you said. Indeed.
And they crush me, call me delusional, There were some words thrown around that was just crazy to me. Hunter, what were the other words that they used?
Bruss dropped blasphemy on it.
Yeah, I don't even know if he knows what that word means.
Yeah, I was like,
doesn't.
I know he didn't go to Wisconsin to play school, but like that's not the right word there, Ben. Like, Tausch wasn't speaking in a way of being disrespectful to the Packers. He was talking about the defense getting better and them playing
and
well.
then they're
like, it was weird.
They're hitting the toad button like I'm some frog and a toad for the Packers. I look at things from the perspective of how is this team doing. I've been very critical of Matt LaFleur.
Yes, you have. Indeed.
So I just that whole conversation, go ahead and tune in and listen, and then listen to the next segment, and you're going to think to yourself like Adam Sandler and Billy Madison. That's honestly what I thought. Like, what did I just listen to? And I just got dumber for listening to what those three fools were saying. That's what happened.
We will play a snippet of that coming up next, and then we will get Tausch's full rebuttal. I have some numbers that are designed to help with that process.
I don't have any more rebuttals. They ended up going through the process and coming back to, yeah, actually what Tausch said is accurate, but the defense has to, hey, guys, teams get better. That's what happens. This defense was markedly better, and they played a playoff game with 4 turnovers and had it 16-10 in the fourth quarter. If your offense could go move the ball and score, you win the game. It wasn't hard to watch. Just watch the games and you can make good analysis of what happened. Don't just, it just makes no sense to me.
Great. Well, I'm glad we got you a little bit fired up. We will get to that coming up after Tausch tells us, Goody doesn't believe in windows, but maybe if he spent a little time with Gene Adella and the team from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, he would understand what it means to have open,
Happy New
beautiful
Year.
windows.
I think we only got a day or two left of that. Means a lot of rough days ahead. For those who suffer from seasonal affective disorder, plenty of gray, frigid days on the horizon where we all just want to be snugly and warm at home. Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0 interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. But hurry up, you only have until January 31st. So visit PellaWI.com today to learn more. Certain restrictions do apply.
We'll get to Tausch's comment and the reaction to it. I'm being told by multiple sources that Chewy also had a take on that this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. We'll break it down next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Hey, it's Riley Yauk. Stay in the know on area high school sports and follow ESPN Madison on Twitter for Prep Mania on Deck, each week's preview for the top games and events. Prep Mania on Deck is brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of high school sports and local communities.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful, energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
Gold medalist and ESPN Madison foodie Matt Hamilton here to tell you about Metcalf's Market. As a proud Wisconsinite, you know I support local, and it doesn't get more local than 4th-generation, family-operated Metcalf's Market. Renowned for offering an extensive selection of local and premium quality foods, it's the best place to shop for me and my family. Where family tradition meets commitment to quality, sustainability, and supporting local communities, head to one of their locations today in Hilldale, near Westtown Mall, or Wauwatosa. Metcalf's Market. Bring local home.
Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. The big game is almost here, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last football game of the season with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the big game. Prize Picks is also giving away a free pick for the big game, where one of the starting quarterbacks will only need to throw 1 yard to win. If you're correct on at least one more stat projection, you can win real cash. Check out the promos tab to tail any of our Super Sweat Millie winners big game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. Download the app today and use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The Eagles' run game is based on the offensive line. Saquon Barkley does a great job with making second and third level defenders miss, but he's 15, 20 yards downfield. He doesn't get touched for 20 yards. I have a hard time saying that guy is the most important player on the team when nobody touches him for 2 first downs.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekdays from 5 to 9 on 100.5 ESPN.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Let's make tonight the weekend. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. Got no reason not to celebrate. Baby, I just don't want.
Wilde and Tausch back with you.
Yeah, you're rattled today, man. You're all over the place today. You look frazzled.
Actually, I've been in the exact same place the entire time. Apparently, we had a communication breakdown, but I'm not rattled at all. I just need to make sure that from the Grubel office's One Call That's All studios, Grubel office's One Call That's All. Everyone knows that I'm ready to go. That's apparently the only issue. And apparently it is go time in terms of, I don't want to call it beef with KBN, but I kind of feel like that's what it is because
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have any beef. They're repurposing some stuff I said, which I said I don't have any problem. What I said is what I said. I don't know. How is anybody arguing that the defense made bigger jumps than the offense, that the defense got a lot better, and the defense played well enough at the end of the season to win games? Like, who's arguing that? Did anybody that watched the games disagree with me on that?
Again, I don't know what exactly, you've joked about this, that the worst job at 1265 Lombardi Avenue is defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. Again, the numbers. The Green Bay Packers finished the season 6th in the 32-team NFL in scoring defense, 5th in total defense.
That stinks.
5th in total defense.
That ain't good enough to win.
4th in takeaways.
That stinks.
4th in takeaways. Now, if you look at the teams that finished ahead of them in scoring defense, the Los Angeles Chargers made the playoffs, lost their first playoff game.
Yep.
The Philadelphia
Their offense
Eagles
wasn't good enough either.
The Philadelphia Eagles, who were the number 1 total defense, number 2 in scoring defense, they're playing in the Super Bowl. The Denver Broncos, who made the playoffs. The Kansas City Chiefs, who were 4th in scoring defense and 9th in total defense. The Minnesota Vikings, then the Green Bay Packers 6th. The Detroit Lions 7th. the Pittsburgh Steelers 8th, the Baltimore Ravens 9th, the Miami Dolphins 10th, the Buffalo Bills 11th. Refresh my memory, Miami did not make the playoffs. They're the only team in the top 11 that did not make the playoffs that was a top 11 defense in scoring defense. Defense matters in this league. They don't want it to matter, and they make it as difficult as they can on defenses to matter, but it matters. The Packers' defense was good enough. Quite frankly, statistically, it was better than the Chiefs' defense in terms of yards per game, and it was better than the injury-plagued Lions' defense, both in scoring and in total yardage allowed. My point is that their what you said was true, even though you didn't say it was good enough to win the Super Bowl.
No, I never said that. Nope.
You could argue that it was good enough to win the Super Bowl. That's not what you said.
So, Jason, here's the thing. You have to judge, and I'm guessing when you look back, you could say, well, the defense, how did the defense do against the big boys? Philly, Minnesota, Detroit. You know, the games that you'd look like and you'd say, all right, Detroit obviously had a lot of success on offense. Minnesota obviously had a lot of success on offense. But you have to look at the back end of the season. Every team gets better or worse. You don't stay the same. I don't know how anybody that's played at a professional level, coaches pound that into your head because they want you to keep improving. This defense played the Philadelphia Eagles, which, by the way, they are representing the NFC. Green Bay urinated down their leg 4 times. A kick return fumble, interception. And you gave up 16 points on short fields. Their offense looked inept for most of the game. Phillies did. The Packers' defense got a lot better. The Packers' defense trending the right way. Does that mean they're perfect? Oh, if you feel that way, this was one of the things. Why Philadelphia is in the Super Bowl. Saquon, offensive line, all that's important. They're in the Super Bowl because they got their blank together on defense.
Yeah, you're right.
Their defense went from the outhouse to darn near the penthouse. The good news as a Packer fan, and why somebody, how far away are they? They got a long window. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, cute. Our defense made big strides.
No doubt.
Our defense was good enough this season to win. Our offense didn't get it done when the money was on the table.
16-10 in the fourth quarter of a playoff game when their offense turned the ball over 4 times. All right.
Why?
So Tausch, that was not live. That was Memorex, Tausch. That's what you said yesterday. We'll get to what those knuckleheads had to say because it was a lot. Also, Chewy spoke today on the Packers defense. I'm trying to understand again what exactly is the bar at this point for the Green Bay Packers defense for anyone to think that it's good enough. Because, for example, I heard the argument that their defense wasn't good enough in the loss to the Vikings at home, right? Wasn't that one of the things that we heard?
We did, yeah.
When I go back and look at that game, which and again, here's one of the many things I don't understand about where we're at in terms of viewing the Green Bay Packers. I don't understand why some are willing to make excuses for Jordan Love, but are not willing to make excuses for the defense, which I'm not saying you should be making excuses for the defense, but the Green Bay Packers lost to the Minnesota Vikings, a 31-29 loss in which they fell behind 28-0. Jordan Love threw 3 picks in that game.
Yeah.
That may have had something to do with digging
21 points, I believe, off of turnovers that game.
So, if you want to sit here and go, they gave up 374 yards to the Vikings in that game, I get it. I get it. The defense got 3 turnovers in that game, which allowed them to rally and get back into the game. The Detroit Lions had the best offense in football, one of the best in NFL history. So, yes, did they lose in Detroit 34-31? Yeah. Would you have liked your defense to have been able to do more? Yeah. Even good defenses get in shootouts. So that sometimes happens to good defenses. The other guys get paid too. Now, do you want to argue that their numbers benefited from playing the New Orleans Saints, who they shut out? Of course, right? Shutouts, here's a news flash, shutouts really help your final numbers. When you can have one of those games, that really helps in terms of yardage, in terms of points allowed, everything like that. I get it. Again, makes total sense. But the Philadelphia Eagles played the Saints too, and beat them 15-12. So I'm sure the numbers offensively for the Saints in that game were helpful to their statistics. The Commanders played them and beat them. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers played them and beat them. So let's remember that everyone gets to play some.
Commanders put up 34 on Philly too a couple weeks ago.
Right. So again, the Packers were not good enough to be a Super Bowl team. That's everybody. Right? That includes the defense. There were shortcomings on defense. No one is sitting here and saying that there aren't shortcomings defensively, but having watched the entirety of that segment that KBN had, and you know, I'm a big Brad Nortman fan. I was surprised that he joined the choir
right in bed
there.
with Brusty there. Oh, yeah, Ben. Great point, Ben.
That
was embarrassing.
I think he might have said, couldn't agree with you more. That was
Oh, Ben, what a great point, Ben. Oh, yeah, great point. And then a segment later, you went against the exact point you just made. So, yeah, great stuff.
So I did not hear the subsequent segment where there was backtracking. I definitely don't. I never want there to be beef between shows. I personally don't. I don't like that. So I'm not trying to. But I think it's a worthwhile conversation. It kind of sounds like. I mean, listening to the tone of voice, it's not the friendliest tone you've ever had.
Well, he called me absurd and it was blasphemy.
There was another word he used that I don't think he knew the meaning of either, frankly.
Yeah, and I don't mind. Listen, man, you're going to have takes, and I'm going to be wrong. I'm not right on everything, but, just make sure your point's back. At least you believe for more than a day. Like, that's not asking that much. Give it a day, not 5 minutes. Like,
well, let's do this. When we come back, we'll let our fans be the judge. But the overarching question, because I love to use this sort of stuff as what I like to call the jumping off point. Do you think the Packers defense was, as a whole, taking everything into account, good enough this year or not? Thinking back to other defenses that you've watched as a Packers fan, was their pass rush not effective enough, especially when they would send their front four? I don't think it was good enough. But as a whole, as an entire unit, with the number of takeaways it had, with the way it improved against the run, with how much of a field tilter Xavier McKinney was.
Jason, were you happy with the progress the defense made this season under Jeff Hafley?
Undeniably.
Because they obviously weren't good. They weren't good enough to win a championship.
No,
they weren't the 85
which you never
Bears.
said they were, by the way.
No, and I still don't. The defense was markedly better than what we've seen.
Yep. And I'm very eager to see what Jeff Hafley does in year 2 when guys are comfortable in the system, when they augment their defensive roster yet again. But look, for a group that has spent a lot of capital on defense, especially first-round picks, this time around, they did not use a first-rounder on defense. They used it on Jordan Morgan, an offensive lineman. But I don't know how you look at both of their second-round picks contributed, one more than the other. But you look at what Edgerrin Cooper did, he looks like a field-tilting player. He has to build on this and make a jump in year 2. But he undeniably looks like that. Javon Bullard looks like a fantastic Swiss Army knife that they can use in a myriad of ways. And Evan Williams looks like a stud to me. Not just because he went to Oregon.
So, Jason, here's what I am going to say. We get crown happy.
Mm-hmm. Did it with the quarterback
last year. Let's not be crown happy. No, but we're
think
crown happy on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
We have
but
Edgerrin Cooper as the next Brian Urlacher, and
no,
I like Edgerrin Cooper.
No, but he tilted the field in their direction this season, just like Jordan Love did during the second half of last season. But that doesn't guarantee that you can sustain that. And you know that, and I know that, and you know that I know
I'm just saying we got to stop with the crowning. We crown guys too soon. We did last year. I'm a lesson learner. Learn lessons in life. Stop crowning people right away. Do I think they're good players? I think Edgerrin Cooper's got a chance to be a really good player. I ain't crowning him Urlacher, just like I didn't crown Xavier McKinney, Charles Woodson like some people did. Xavier McKinney had a really good year. He ain't Chuck Woodson. He's not.
And you should know better than to call him Chuck. 1, 2.
No, he's not listening today.
Never said that he was Charles Woodson, the Hall of Fame player. I want to get to this audio so people who did not hear it know what we're talking about here. We'll do that coming up. Maybe you're a little grumpy because you didn't get a great night's sleep. Maybe you're a little under the weather. Whatever it may be, if you go in to Steinhafels and test rest a Beauty Rest Black mattress, you'll have a chance to win a dream vacation to Hawaii. Who doesn't need that? More importantly, you'll probably find your next mattress and you'll sleep a lot better. Queen Beauty Rest mattresses start at Steinhafels at just $399, and you can add an adjustable base and save up to $900 more. Plus, the Queen Beauty Rest Black mattresses start at just $38 per month when you use Steinhafels 60-month financing, and you get up to $300 in Steinhafels cash. So don't overpay for a good night's sleep. Shop Steinhafels Beauty Rest mattresses in-store or online at steinhafels.com. We will hear from KBN. I am in the Grubel office's One Call That's All studios. I'll search the facility, see if Brust is milling about here or if Ben wants to come on and further discuss this. I'm guessing he's not in quite yet, judging from the smile on Joshy's face. Might be a little early for Ben to be in here, but who knows? Maybe he'll saunter by. We'll talk about it next, though. It's Wilde and Tausch.
You're listening to Madison's home for Milwaukee Bucks basketball.
Lillard, three-pointer for the lead. It's Dame time.
Madison's home of Dame Time is 100.5 ESPN.
LabCorp Clinical Trials is changing to a new name, Fortrea. While the name may be different, Fortrea combines decades of great experience and professionalism with new opportunities for clinical trial participation. It's more than a mission and more than a new name. Fortrea is dedicated to moving healthcare forward. To learn more about the future of healthcare and upcoming clinical trials, visit us at FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's FORTREA clinicaltrials.com.
Mark Tosher here for Pizza Hut, where the number 7 just got luckier. You already know how much I love Pizza Hut, but have you heard about Pizza Hut's $7 Deal Lovers menu? Enjoy all your Pizza Hut favorites like pizza, boneless wings, melts, cheese sticks, and more for just $7 each when you buy 2 or more. With the $7 Deal Lovers menu, you don't have to choose between great taste and great value. You can have them both. Order on the app or online at pizzahut.com. The $7 Deal Lovers menu, only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
From color-changing alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters, and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Start your year off right with incredible new deals at Metro Kia of Madison. It's a new year, and we've got 211 brand new vehicles waiting for you. Drive home a 2025 Kia Sportage with 1.9% APR financing for 60 months, $17.48 per thousand borrowed. And don't forget, qualified buyers get 2 years, no charge maintenance, and 90 days deferred payments on new vehicles. But hurry, these new offers end February 3rd. Reserve your ride at MetroKiaMadison.com and stop in to Metro Kia today.
The 2025 Wisconsin football schedule is here, and you should be too. Season tickets are on sale now, so don't miss your chance to jump around at Camp Randall Stadium this fall. Last year, 6 of 7 home games were sellouts, proof that there's nothing like game day with the Badgers. Secure your spot for marquee matchups against Ohio State, Washington, and Iowa, and enjoy the best value to see Wisconsin football in action. For more information and to get your season tickets, visit ewbadgers.com or call 1-800-GO-BADGERS.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Watch every ESPN Madison show live every day. Subscribe to ESPN Madison on YouTube for live video of every show and exclusive content. Just search ESPN Madison.
All right, without further ado, Hunter, you've got this. Now, how did you even edit this down? Like, they spent like 20 minutes basically trashing Tausch before coming around to his opinion.
Well, so, as we were talking or texting after all of this happened, honestly, I stopped listening after Brust's blasphemy line, and I was like, I just can't. So
there's
I was
a lot more after that.
Oh, great. Yeah, so that's all I pulled. I mean, if we want more, then I'll have to pull some more. But I figured it kind of summed up the stupidity in the minute 41 segment that I got. Yeah,
I think we're good. And, I mean, the bottom line on it is, I think where we've gotten to, and this is the jumping off point, is I think we all agree the pass rush against the big boys wasn't good enough.
No doubt.
But this defense, when you get judged on postseason football, that doesn't mean what happened in September and October doesn't count, but it's a different team. Everybody started getting more and more comfortable with Jeff Hafley's system.
Yeah.
You're going to build off of what you saw in December and January. And you're going to see, and obviously people are down at the Senior Bowl, and you're going to upgrade your roster. Because one of the arguments that these guys had was, well, if it was so good, they just run it back. Well, if you know anything about the NFL, you don't run anything back because you can't. Because there's free agents, you draft. Like, there is a 20 to 25% roster turnover. It just is. And you weren't good enough in 4-down rush consistently enough. And we went over that all day Tuesday, and I'm sure that'll be a talking point all before the draft, is that position group needs to get better. That's why they fired their coach.
Yes.
So
exactly.
You can get better and still be a good defense that had every opportunity to help your team advance to the next round of the playoffs. And that is all I really said, is the defense more than did its job. The offense
which has not always been the case in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
No. God, no. Exactly.
Let's hear how Ben Brust framed his thoughts on Tausch's thoughts. Here it is from KBN across ESPN Wisconsin.
the good news as a Packer fan and why somebody, how far away are they? They got a long window. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, cute. Our defense made big strides.
No doubt.
Our defense was good enough this season to win. Our offense didn't get it done when the money was on the table.
I cannot sit here and listen to Tausch say that and then use the evidence in front of me outside of a playoff game to be like, you know what? Yeah, the defense was good enough to get us to a Super Bowl. Do we forget in week 1 they gave up 34 points to the Philadelphia Eagles? Do we forget in week 5 they gave up 31 to the Minnesota Vikings? 24 against the Lions. Sure, we'll give them a little bit of break there, but at the same time, there was plenty of snow and bad weather on the ground. Then you go to Ford Field. 34 you give up to the Lions, and then you play the Vikings again, and you give up 27. Did the defense take strides? Abso-freaking-lutely. But how am I supposed to use the sample size that we all saw in the 5 games in the regular season in which they lost to teams with a better record than them, and then say, because the 22-12 game the defense played well against the Eagles, that this defense was good enough to win a Super Bowl? We're all talking and wishing for a pass rusher right now because we know the defense has made strides, but isn't good enough. Were they good enough in that game against Philadelphia? Yes. But the narrative that the defense this past season, this is blasphemy.
Who the hell gives a whether Ben Russell is
I don't know why he's yelling. I also think it's important to point out, for example, that the Detroit Lions, who scored 24 points in the rain. It was not snowing. It was rain that night.
7 freebies that we gave them.
The Detroit Lions averaged on the season 33.2 points per game. They led the league in scoring. So 34.
Was there not a pick 6 right before the half, too? On a screen pass?
Yeah.
There was.
Yes.
So it's 17 points.
Yeah.
And I think 6 more of those came off a different turnover. So bottom line is, and if Ben, and this is why it is what it is, Ben is saying blasphemy and all this. The blasphemy is Ben putting words in my mouth that I said Super Bowl, which I didn't, and then backtracking a segment later. That really is what is blasphemous about it. But I'm not going to hold a grudge. It is what it is.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're not a grudge holder. I tend to be that. But I just don't. I think the overarching question that I would like our fans to respond to, and it's really twofold. How good do you in the first game in a new system?
In a different country?
Yeah, I'm not sure that is germane to where they finished the season.
Some
it is
would say
process.
that's blasphemous. Some would say that's probably blasphemous.
I personally would not. Just
Any
because
chance
I know
Bruss
what that
can
word
spell
means.
blasphemous? There's no chance, right? No chance.
Again, if you look at the way they finished the season, we were all talking about how they scored at least 30 points in 5 straight games. That stretch, starting with their loss to the Lions that you referenced that had the pick 6, 24-14 loss. Their next 3 wins over the 49ers, Dolphins, and the Bears, 49ers, and Dolphins. 20-19, 38-10, 30-17. Then they lose to the Lions on the road, 34-31. Then their final 2 wins over Seattle and New Orleans, 30-13 and 34-0. Yes, the Vikings got 27, and yes, the Bears got 24 in the last 2 games, but I don't know how you don't look at that defense and then see what they did in the playoff game and think their arrow was very much pointed in the right direction and feel very good about what they're capable of. I can't have that conversation with you.
And it's fine that Benny and his team over at KBN doesn't feel that way. I don't. That doesn't. That's great. Have an opinion and roll with it. That's fine. But I saw a playoff game that I thought our defense was as good as anybody. And by the way, watch what Philly has done since. Running the football, Yeah, Saquon had, I don't know how many explosive runs he had. Philly's offense that day was limited, big time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So.
All right, I do want to get feedback. I'm getting a bunch of responses already in the YouTube comments, some that I'm not going to bring up because they're critical of our teammates, and we're not in that business. But I do want to know what you think of this defense. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. That is the carbless talk and text line.
I'm wondering, I know Hunter is the king of the blind resume, and I'm not sure what blind resumes we're going to do later in the show. But of all of the playoff teams, where would have Green Bay's defense been slotted? Philly's ahead of them, no doubt. Who else's defense is ahead? Kansas City's would be ahead.
I want to be fair to Detroit's defense, by the way, because we all know. Do you believe that if Detroit has half as many injuries,
Jaden Daniels would much rather play Detroit's defense than Green Bay's? That I believe.
I was going to say if they had not been decimated with injury, that was a damn good defense.
Well, the Titanic was a heck of a deal. The Titanic was a heck of a deal until it hit an iceberg. It is what it is. The movie at the Ford's Theater was pretty good until it wasn't. You have to deal in reality, Jason. It's not reality. So
it was a play at
great.
Ford Theater.
Movie play. It's all back then. It was considered a movie.
Okay.
Gruberloff says, one call, that's all. David and his team not only are so supportive of our show, but obviously I'm in the one call, that's all. Gruberloff's studios here at the Avenue and the 3rd Street Market Hall in Milwaukee. More importantly, though, they are the call to make if you've been seriously injured in an accident. 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666. Gruberloff says, one call. That's all. We'll get to some of your thoughts on the Packers defense next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Not one, but two. Former Badger linebackers Zach Bond and Leo Chanel will be in the big game in the Big Easy. No matter who comes out as the victor, Barry Alvarez calls this a win for the Wisconsin program.
Those are our guys. And I love when you have Wisconsin players out on the field representing us and playing in the big time like that. That's impressive, and it's an added interest for me, and I'm sure for a lot of fans. It's fun to watch the games, but when you have a Badger right in the mix, it even makes it more interesting.
The Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez, streaming Monday nights at 6 on ESPN Madison's YouTube channel.
Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at PellaWI.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. If you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Do you want to have more fun watching the NFL playoffs? Try playing Sleeper Picks. Just download the Sleeper app today and pick more or less on at least 2 players' projected stats. You can win up to 100 times your cash. For a limited time, Sleeper has a special offer. New users have to just play $5 and they'll receive $55 in free entries. Just download the Sleeper app today and use code BRAD, B-R-A-D. Must be 18 years or older. Promo code, location, and other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Just announced 0.99% APR for 60 months on select new 2024 Audis. Eligible models include the Q4 e-trons, Q4 e-tron Sportbacks, and the Q8 e-trons. No down payment required. Monthly payments equal $1,667 per $1,000 finance. All offers require qualified credit through Audi Financial Services. Offer ends February 3rd, 2025. Stop in and test drive today. Check out AudiMadison.com and see current inventory and specials. Start your adventure at Audi Madison today, off the Beltline and Rimrock Road.
This is our crew.
Fly ball right field. Hit a ton. We're tied.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball is coming to ESPN Madison.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Every pitch, every dramatic moment, every
fly ball left field. Back. Still back. It is up and gone.
Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers. 100.5 ESPN.
When you or a loved one are faced with an unexpected injury or illness, Stoughton Health's urgent care is there for you. Stoughton Health has 4 convenient urgent care locations for the care you need without the wait. We have urgent care locations in Stoughton, Oregon, McFarland, and Cottage Grove with extended hours to fit your schedule. Stoughton Health accepts over 160 insurances, including Dean Health Plan, Quartz, Humana, and more. Please visit stoughtonhealth.com for more information. Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offer the Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
We're on the Packers.
The lesson to be learned is you can't be a 7th seed.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
They got to be better, and if they're not, then next year will be a disappointment.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
When you tell me I'm a wreck, you say that I'm a mess. How could you expect anything less? You latched onto me, then cried, I showed you
844-770-3776. That is the carbless talk and text line. How do you feel as a Packers fan about this defense? Where it stands, where it can go in year 2 under Jeff Hafley, what it needs to add to be a Super Bowl championship caliber defense? All that matters. But we have some breaking news from our friend Rob Domofsky of ESPN.com.
Oh, baby, now this is some breaking news.
The Packers are planning to hire former Patriots defensive coordinator DeMarcus Covington as their new defensive line coach and promote Sean Mannion to quarterbacks coach. Sources told ESPN. I
Is
assume
Orlovsky a consultant, or is he just not coming?
I don't think Dan Orlovsky is coming, and I don't know that he was ever being
campaign against
considered.
Orlovsky worked, just like you got Russ Ball not hired as a GM. Well done again, Wildy. You keep getting it done. Nice job.
Yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with Dan Orlovsky not getting that job. But
how about with Russ Ball? Hey, oh boy. How about with Russ Ball?
Just reported what Aaron Rodgers felt.
Huh?
Just reported what Aaron Rodgers felt.
Yeah, you did.
Somebody else that was working in the building felt similarly. He was the head coach of the football team, so I think that also carried some weight at the time. But bottom line, as some on this panel were trying to tell you, Sean Mannion made the most sense for that job. So he had a year of, say, an internship, quarterbacks coach in waiting, if you will, to learn from Tom Clements, and now Jordan Love at a very critical point in Jordan Love's development has a new quarterbacks coach. Per Rob Domofsky, it will be Sean Mannion, the former NFL backup who joined the staff a year ago. Tausch, I would guess that this was probably part of the conversation and why Sean Mannion, who had multiple opportunities to join other coaching staffs, including, I believe, both the Rams and the 49ers wanted him too. I'm going to guess that the possibility of being the full-time quarterback's coach was probably one of the things that he was thinking was a real possibility with Tom Clements turning 71 and getting close to retirement. Wouldn't you think so?
Oh, you think they threw a little sprinkler out there and said, "Hey, yeah, old Tommy boy's going to call it a day. We'll put you in the old big chair." You think that's what happened?
Yeah, I do. I think that was something that maybe wasn't promised, but if you could read the tea leaves, you were aware of that. All right, I want to get back to the defense.
Or the breadcrumbs, like Hansel and Gretel.
Some might say. Some might say.
Beautiful poster that's starting a fire.
I don't think there's a fireplace at the Tundra Trio. So to the best of my knowledge, it should be still in the living room of one of the houses, and we can frame it and hang it there, and then it can be displayed prominently.
If Matt LaFleur was to give up play calling, who is the guy? Steno?
I would think Stenovich rather than giving it to somebody who has been an offensive coordinator twice in Luke Getsy. Maybe with, what do the kids say? That's a poverty franchise, Josh. Is that the line? It's a poverty franchise. But the Bears and the Raiders aren't exactly the most. They're a little dysfunctional. Let's be honest, right? Maybe that's changing. They both changed head coaches and they're starting new eras. But
what does
the
that
reality
have to do
is,
with my question I just asked you when you said poverty franchise? What's the correlation there?
Are you struggling today?
No, I said who would you call?
Yeah,
who would
Luke
call the plays?
Getsy was the offensive play caller for both of those teams. And he is now on the Packers staff. He would be the other consideration to be the play caller other than Steno if Matt LaFleur gave it up.
With poverty franchise? Like, I guess I just didn't correlate the two.
Because he worked for two. He was the play caller for two teams that some might call poverty franchises, given how dysfunctional they are.
Tausch, you weren't listening to Jason, because I got where he was going.
No, I
with that.
was listening to Jason.
You clearly
I didn't
weren't,
understand.
Though, because he literally answered your question, but then gave more context of, yes, he got fired from those positions, but those are poverty franchises, so how much do you hold it against Luke Getsy? I didn't think it was that difficult to track.
I appreciate your translation for me, Hunter.
You're welcome.
Be that as it may, I do want to get back to talking about the defense. I don't think Matt LaFleur is giving up play calling. He always says that that's on the table. We saw Mike McCarthy do it briefly and then realize that was a mistake and take it back. He did it again in Dallas and let Kellen Moore call plays and then realized he needed to call the plays. I don't think offensive head coaches give up the play calling very easily, and oftentimes when they do, they regret it. I do not see that occurring, but I would think it would be Steno over Luke Getsy, who just returned to the organization.
Because of a poverty franchise. That's what I just learned right there. That's what I learned.
No.
Right. No or yeah? I'm just trying to keep up with what was going on. I know I was just blasphemized by saying I wasn't listening. Actually, I was, and I was trying to piece together. LaFleur's not going to give up play calling. But if he did, it would be Steno because Luke Getsy failed at two poverty franchises. That's the synopsis I just got. Fair?
No. It's, do you hold against him the fact that his offenses that he called plays for were for a pair of poverty franchises that are dysfunctional? And does that mean he's a bad play caller? And if Matt LaFleur, in this theoretical realm that you've created where he gives up the play calling, would he give it to Steno, who has never called plays other than in preseason games? Or would he give it to the guy that is the senior offensive assistant who's called plays for two teams, but both of them sucked with bad quarterback situations? I don't think he's giving up play calling so he doesn't have to worry about it, but I would think it would be Steno that would get the call to do so. I know this. If you play Prize Picks wisely, you will not be a poverty person. You'll be much wealthier because you'll have turned your sports opinions into cash.
That's Jason telling me to stop this conversation, but I'm also fascinated Getsy, not successful, Hackett. Does that just tell you how great Aaron Rodgers was, or does it tell you Matt LaFleur's hiring? There's a lot of questions that you could delve into there. There is no questions when you're looking for a great daily fantasy sports who to play with, and that is Prize Picks. Over 10 million members and billions of dollars. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to everybody. It's simple, more or less, on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash on Prize Picks. And, the big game is almost here, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the big game of the season with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the big game. Prize Picks is also giving away a free pick for the big game, where one of the starting quarterbacks in the big game will only need to throw 1 yard to win. I believe it's going to be Patrick Mahomes in said big game. If you're correct on at least one other stat projection, you can win real cash in the big game. Check out the promos tab to tail any of our Super Sweat Millie winner big game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million. That's probably why they call it the Super Sweat Millie winner big game lineup. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code WI for the great state of Wisconsin to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup in the big game. Prize Picks.
Run!
Your game. Oh, I thought you were going to say big, and then I would say game because, of course, it's the big game is coming up. I don't know if you heard that in that read, but it's the big game.
Yeah, that's super. We'll kick off the 10 o'clock hour in 2 minutes. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott and Garrett and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. The holiday season may be over, but that means Valentine's Day is approaching. It doesn't matter the occasion, birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, or if you're in the doghouse, or if you want to stay out of it, I recommend Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and in Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Hi, this is former Badger Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison. Good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
What is up, Madison? I'm Hunter Vaughn. Your Sports Center update is brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out at 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. We've got some breaking news around the Packers as ESPN's Rob Demovsky reports that the Packers are planning to hire the Patriots' former defensive coordinator, DeMarcus Covington, to be the new Packers defensive line coach. Packers are also promoting Sean Mannion to quarterbacks coach. And speaking of Rob Demovsky, he was on ESPN Wisconsin's KBN yesterday, and he thinks that the Packers Super Bowl window is definitely open.
To me, their window is now wide open. Like, from here on out, they have the opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. If they don't do it in that, then I think you're kind of, not that you're starting over, but then I think you've got some problems.
You can stay up to date on all things Packers related over at ESPNWisconsin.com. On to college hoops. The 17th ranked Badgers lost at Maryland 76-68 last night. Hour 2 of Wilde and Tausch starts now.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. I'm curious, Hunter, as you've been curating text messages on the carbless talk and text line, are there people that are Team Ben? Do they think that we're... Because, look,
Well, it sounds like Chewy was, right? Chewy was Team Ben.
So what did Chewy say? Do we want to hear what Chewy said? and see if
I
it's
can
as
get that.
blasphemous. I just don't.
I don't care if you hold Tennessee to 140 yards. I don't care if you hold the Bears to 210 yards. This is the 5 games that mattered. Okay? 5 games that mattered. Eagles, game 1, 410 yards of offense. Minnesota, game 1, 465 yards of offense. Detroit, game 1, 411 yards of offense. Detroit, second game, 391 yards of offense. And Minnesota, final game, 441 yards of offense. Those are games that matter. When you go through a schedule, you say, yep, they're going to beat the Colts, they're going to beat the Wrong.
Chewy, what's the real game that mattered? What was the real game that mattered? What do we care? Brazil, preseason, coming off a preseason. That's cute. But Chewy knows this. The game that really counts was the playoff game. Period. Fin. That's the game that mattered. So for everybody that say, discount that, well, take a look at the big picture, blah, blah, blah. What do you do when you're scouting teams? You look at the last 4 weeks. Because teams change. Injuries happen. Teams either elevate or they get worse. Green Bay got a lot better. Their defense got a lot better. And the game that mattered, there's only 5 games that count, so chew. That game didn't matter? The Eagles playoff game? Like, I get it, and you could say the same thing about all this other stuff. Yeah. The game that really mattered in the end of this season, this defense played at a high level. And I would argue this defense in the playoffs would have been one of the higher-ranked best defenses in the playoffs. Were they the best? No, Philly's better. That's why they're there. That's why I said if Green Bay can beat Philadelphia, Katie barred the door. Believe was my exact quote. Well, Katie barred the door, and Philly's in the Super Bowl. Yeah. You didn't get the door barred. It happens. Katie goes home. It happens. Katie'd love to be going down to New Orleans. Katie ain't going. Philly's going.
Who's Katie?
It's an old
I'm
saying.
not sure how that
Katie
saying
barred
came
the door.
up, but it's a fun,
yeah.
It's a fun little saying.
Boomer saying, okay.
Yeah. Okay, Boomer. Again,
I've been called worse.
I've had a few
I've been
people
told
say,
I wasn't
well,
listening, which is Katie bar the door too. Don't roll your eyes at me,
48
Wildy.
minutes to go.
Why did you hit the road early?
Joshy tells me it's from a poem written in 1881, Katie barred the door.
Of course Josh would know that.
That is boomerish. That could be boomerish.
From a statistical perspective, and again, you can make statistics say whatever you want them to say if you dig deep enough. But the Packers defense finished 5th in the league in total defense. They gave up an average of 314.5 yards a game. By the way, Chewy mentioned the first Packers-Vikings game. He transposed the numbers. The Packers were the team with 465 yards of offense that day, the losers. The Vikings had 374 yards of offense that day, not 465.
And do we care
also,
about yards?
Thank you for taking the words right out of my mouth, because there's a couple of folks in the YouTube comments that say, "Well, let's talk about yards, not points." First of all, I don't think yards are a better indicator than points. I think points, and I think red zone defense, and I think third down defense, and I think takeaways are the 4 things that tell you whether your defense is really good or not. Okay? And in those categories, the Green Bay Packers certainly could have been better. They finished 20th in the league in red zone defense. Certainly you can argue that they needed to be better there. Third down defense, they were 12th. In takeaways, they were 4th. And in scoring defense, they were 6th. Now, you want to say that they weren't that good in some of the biggest games? Sure. Have you broken down what other top defenses did in games against other top opponents? I doubt you have. I doubt you can tell me which games, how Philadelphia fared defensively against Washington, for example, right? We know they gave up a pretty significant number of points and lost late in the game to Washington in one of their matchups, right? They did not do that in the playoff game. They won that one handily, going away. But their three losses on the season were to the Falcons in week 2, the Buccaneers, who they gave up 33 points to in week 4, and then that loss to the Commanders 36-33 on December 22nd. So, again, do the Eagles get the benefit of the doubt? Do we say of the Eagles, well, Jaden Daniels, he was really cooking at that point, right? They gave up a total of 368 yards in that game, but they did give up 36 points. I understand frustration for fans. I get it. And I understand if Ben is tapping into that or Chewy is tapping into that. But the fact of the matter is that this defense played well enough to win a lot of games. Did they play well enough to win the Super Bowl? No, but no one ever said that. But are they? This is the question I have. Going into 2025, not knowing who'll be drafted, not knowing what they'll do in free agency, which side of the ball do you feel like is closer to championship level? I don't know how you can argue that you think the offense is based on the failure of the wide receiving group to take a significant step forward, the failure of the quarterback, injuries a factor, but not the only factor, of him taking a big leap forward from the great success he had in the second half of his first year as the starter. Josh Jacobs was fantastic. There's no denying that. But if you have to pick, I'll put it in a poll form on the Wilde and Tausch Twitter feed. I'm not saying it'll be a canyon, but I don't know what your argument is to say that you think the offense is closer to being championship level than the defense is for the Green Bay Packers. Tell me why I am being myopic and not seeing the other side of that argument, Tausch.
No, it's defense. It's not close. I think there's more questions were answered by Jeff Hafley than what Matt LaFleur's offense. And I'm not sure who would argue with that. You can. You'd be wrong, but you can. There are some things on both sides that need to be improved, but I certainly feel like you can pinpoint and say, yep, this is what we need, and do that on the defensive side of the ball easier than you can on the offensive side of the ball. The defense was more consistent this season than our offense was. Period. Thin. I can't think of one game, even the rout against the Saints, that I came out of a game thinking, boy, our offense was sharp the whole game. Is there one game that you can look back and say, man, were we sharp for 4 quarters? Boy, we didn't have penalties or we didn't have sloppy play. We had coach talking about sloppy play after the 17th game of the season on offense.
A lot. For
you can
3.5 quarters.
For
3.5 quarters in Detroit. But again, we talked about it after that game, right? They got off to a slow start in a game that was a shootout against the highest scoring offense in the league, and that's what cost them. Yeah, the defense could have played better. Yeah, they could have limited them to fewer than 31 points. But again, they failed to get the stop as they drove for the game-winning field goal. All fair criticisms of the Jeff Hafley defense in that loss to the Detroit Lions on that Thursday night in early December. Totally agree. But to Tausch's point, if I'm picking out a game where they were the best offensively, that one is the one where they played their best against a very good opponent. A defense that was decimated with injuries, but still finished in the top 10 in the league in most categories. And they were at their best, I would argue, for the longest duration in an entire game in that game. And it still wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, I'm going to put this poll in the field. We'll take your thoughts again. Hunter is on the Carbless talk and text line, 844-770-3776. We'll get to some of your text messages there. Tausch, tell us a little bit about what Fortria's got going on before we move forward.
They got a bunch of studies for you to pick up a little extra cash. Healthy adults ages 18 to 60, BMI 18 to 32. Study 2 stays, 15 nights, 7 follow-ups, $13,820 for your time and participation. Head over to FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's Fortrea, Fortrea, clinicaltrials.com.
I'll get the poll in the field now. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
It's the 2024 model closeout sale at Zimbrick Chevrolet Sun Prairie. Save $10,000 on a 24 Silverado RST Crew Cab 4x4. Save $2,000 on a 24 Chevy Trax LT, and save $12,500 on a 24 Silverado LV with 0.9% APR available. Plus, save $11,500 on a 24 Blazer EV RS. Hurry, these closeout deals won't last for long. Visit Zimbrick Chevrolet Sun Prairie and ZimbrickChevrolet.com for details. Offers end January 31st.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
As a bull rider, I prefer to do things single-handedly. That's why I love the UW Credit Union app. Doggy! It lets me check accounts, make transfers and more on the go. And if I need an extra hand, UW Credit Union has convenient local branches. Yippee! So, if you want simple mobile banking, mosey on over to UW Credit Union. They're here for every y'all. Federally insured by NCUA.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At MadisonWeightLoss.com, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely with no drugs or injections, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, or exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can lose weight quickly and keep the weight off for good with an easy-to-follow maintenance plan that includes ongoing personal support. And our program costs half as much and works up to twice as fast than most other programs. Go to MadisonWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation now.
Hi, it's Jesse Nelson. I was able to drop 40 pounds thanks to Madison Weight Loss. It's the only program I've ever experienced to actually achieve my weight loss goals. Check out MadisonWeightLoss.com to schedule a free consultation and see how the program can help you.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. Schedule your free consultation now at MadisonWeightLoss.com. That's MadisonWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
We're on the Packers.
The Green Bay Packers simply couldn't beat the elite talent in the NFC.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
They were good. They were not good enough.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
Hold on, I don't wanna know what it's like when you're gone. I don't wanna move on. I don't wanna know what it's like when you're gone for good. You're slipping through my fingertips.
The poll is in the field. again, which side of the football do you think the Packers have or are closer to championship level on? The offense or the defense? Let's take a quick call to start. Again, the Carbless Talk and text line 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Let's talk to Brandon in Tulsa, where Tausch recently was for a hockey tournament. Or am I misunderstanding that? Close. Brandon, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Real quick, what were you guys talking about? A remote coming to Tulsa? I was listening to a stream the other day, and is the show coming to T-Town, or what's going on there?
So, Brandon, I was down in hockey in Dallas, and an Oklahoman, big Packer fan, was telling me about they did a watch party in a hockey rink
Tulsa Packer
for Packer fans, and there is a big contingent of Packer fans in Tulsa.
Yeah,
so
go to Facebook
I know you
and check it out.
You've been a big fan of our show. Do you think we could pull off? Is there enough Packer fans down there that if we come down to Tulsa, we could have ourselves a nice little remote?
Hundreds of us. Tulsa Packer backers. You can check them out, and I guarantee you they'll be on the show.
There we go, Jason. What do we think? I've never been, so is that something we're interested in?
I've never been to Tulsa. I have been to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So I have that state checked off on my to-do list, much like Utah. I think it would be fun. Brandon, you've been with us since the jump. You are incredibly supportive of our show. We'll have to work on the logistics of a road trip because both of us have kids that are very busy with a variety of activities, and we do have other jobs as well. But I would love to get to experience the Tulsa, Oklahoma Packers backers. You are one of them. Do you back the offense or the defense in our poll question of which side of the ball is closer to being championship level?
I think it's no question the defense. I think a lot of people look at this from the perspective of, with Jordan Love in his current state, this defense isn't good enough. But I'll ask you a question. If you stick Aaron Rodgers in the 2014 offense with this defense, are they going to the Super Bowl this year? And I think it's a resounding yes. I have no question that Philly is sent home by A-Rod and the boys with this defense. Even given the 2016 offense, same thing. I think people look at Jordan Love, 2011 for sure. We're so used to the excellence that Rodgers and the offense had all those years with a subpar defense a lot of the time. And now we're skewed to, this defense isn't good enough because they can't overcome Love's struggles. I think that says a lot more about the offense than the defense, though. You're telling me that if Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur take a big jump next year, and Jordan is now at 69% completion percentage every game, the dude's only throwing 6-7 picks all season. He's throwing a couple touchdowns every week. Oh, by the way, Josh Jacobs is still producing. This defense could stay exactly the same for next year as it was this year, and I think we're making a very deep playoff run, even reaching a Super Bowl. This defense was good enough with a really good offense. The offense just wasn't nearly good enough that it could overcome it. And I'm not saying the edge rush doesn't need to get fixed. I get that. But I think Goody's plan makes perfect sense because his plan's based on Jordan Love taking steps. It's still the most important position on the team, even though we've got a great running back and even though we've got a better defensive coordinator now. This still all predicates itself on what is Jordan going to do in the next 2 to 3 years. Because if he stays exactly the same and is just an average guy who's fairly inaccurate, I don't think it matters what Goody does, because you can't go win Super Bowls if you've got a subpar average dude at quarterback. I don't think we do. I think Jordan's going to elevate. So this defense is a championship caliber defense if the offense gets its crap together and figures out how to raise their game. I have no doubt that Matt LaFleur is grinding right now. even if it's, he's taking some time off. I know they're determined to fix the offensive side of the ball. To me, it's a no-brainer. Defense is already there. In my opinion, they're only going to get better, and the offense has to get better to complement what is already, I think, a really well-ran defense.
Brandon, quick question for you.
Yeah.
If the offense of last year, December and January, Jordan Love played at that level, is Green Bay in the Super Bowl this year?
100%. 100%. And I think we beat the Chiefs.
I'm with you.
We already did it last year. That's what's so frustrating. Like, we're not, I was down in the dumps a couple weeks ago watching the playoffs because I was angry that we weren't there. And I'm like, oh, my God, we might be 2 to 3 years away. We're not. The pieces are there. They're there. They have to consistently play. But Jordan Love playing at his best, he beats Jalen Hurts, okay? And they're playing in the Super Bowl this week, and I'd have to pick them to beat the Chiefs. I don't think there's anything, the best thing about the Chiefs is Andy Reid is magical. Patrick Mahomes is magical. Travis Kelce's not what he was 5 years ago. He's still a great Hall of Fame player, but I'm sorry. If Jordan Love, he's the guy that is needing to figure things out. This defense is there. They're going to get better. They're good enough as is with a great Jordan Love, which I know he can be.
Jason, thanks for the call, Brandon.
Yeah. So a couple things that Brandon brings up.
Really good call there by Big B in the T.
I didn't know we were calling him Big B.
With that call we can.
From your time in Dallas, which had nothing to do with actually Oklahoma, did you learn that his nickname is Big B?
How many times do I have to go over this with you? There was an Oklahoman with us.
I understand.
I don't know if this concept it just blows your mind, but
very, very, very frustrating.
All I'm saying is you went to Dallas. You've never been to the state of Oklahoma, and you returned home from Dallas announcing that we needed to do a remote in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, because this guy told me about the Tulsa Packers
I'm
and how
aware.
big of a deal they are.
I understand. I understand it. It's just if you look at it, I do. Yes. I also was listening when I was talking about poverty franchises. Look, here's the thing. To Brandon's point, if you look back on 2010, when you were a member of the Green Bay Packers and the Green Bay Packers won the Super Bowl, just as they did this season, the Packers finished 5th in total defense that year. They finished 2nd in scoring defense. That was
pretty good.
An elite level defense coordinated by Dom Capers in year 2, which is what the Packers will be in next year under Jeff Hafley. And they had an offense that was really humming, especially late in the year when even with a backup quarterback in New England was still productive. And then when Rodgers came back, I mean, probably the best quarterbacking I've seen in a game in Atlanta, which I was there for. But to the point about this offense and where it is at, and your point about if Love is playing and the offense is playing the second half of 2024 the way it was playing 2023, how many times did we talk about if Aaron Rodgers had the defenses that were as effective as Tom Brady, what would his postseason resume look like?
Jason, fair, but we can't just whitewash history here. There's
no,
also...
and I'm not. No. Wait a minute. I wasn't done. I'm not saying that Rodgers didn't have games in the postseason where he didn't play well enough. That's not what I'm saying. But
3 picks in the second half against Tampa. Okay.
My point is reinforcing that this defense was good enough. And much like in some instances of playoff games with other defenses, and I finished my thought, there were times when the defense was good enough to win playoff games and the offense wasn't. So, again, if this defense can do in year 2 under Jeff Hafley what the defense in year 2 under Dom Capers did, and the offense can do a better job of carrying its weight than it did this season, I like their chances. But from a purely direct poll question sense, I don't see how you can convince me. And I'm open to being convinced because right now it's at 68%. The Packers defense is closer to being championship level. 31.8% of the respondents have said the Packers offense. I don't see it that way. Do I think the offense is capable of being championship level? Absolutely. If you have to make me pick one that is closer to that level, though, I don't know how you're arguing offense. So I'm open to being convinced. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. I know Hunter's got a few text messages as well, but we'll get to some of your calls. Again, 844-770-3776. Tausch, tell us about Coors Light first.
Coors Light brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lagered, cold filtered, and it is cold packaged, so it's made to chill. Born in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado in 1978, Coors Light is refreshing. It is crisp. It is only 102 calories. That's why it is Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
The Carbless Talk and text line is open, 844-770-3776. If you want to call and have a conversation, we're ready for that. Otherwise, Hunter's got a bunch of texts lined up. We'll get to those next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott and Garrett and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. The holiday season may be over, but that means Valentine's Day is approaching. And it doesn't matter the occasion, birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, or if you're in the doghouse, or if you want to stay out of it, I recommend Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and in Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
When you've been seriously injured, you'll need a team with knowledge and experience to get the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Purchase your tickets, grab some friends, and get to the Sylvie on Monday, February 24th for Andy North Trivia Night, presented by Exact Sciences. Enjoy a fun and inspiring evening of trivia, music, food, and refreshments while helping to raise money for UW Carbone Cancer Center. This fun and inspiring event is hosted by Andy North, and in addition to the trivia, the lineup includes a silent auction, celebrity appearances, and prizes. Doors open at 6 p.m. Visit AndyNorthAndFriends.com to buy your tickets. Past year's events have sold out quickly, so get your tickets today.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison wants you to start the year behind the wheel of a brand new ride in our Road to the Motherlode giveaway. On Friday, January 31st, there are lots of opportunities for you to strike gold. 3 winners will be chosen every half hour from 6 p.m. until 9:30, with each taking home a cash prize between $500 and $2,500. Then at 10 o'clock, one grand prize winner will receive our largest single prize ever, a $50,000 vehicle certificate. And it's only at Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Welcome to the 2025 NFL Draft on ESPN Radio.
The NFL Draft is now underway.
Live from historic Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
With the first pick.
Thursday, April 24th on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
Switch on the sky and the stars glow for you. Go see the world, cause it's all so brand new. Don't close your eyes, cause your future...
Continuing our conversation about where the Packers defense stands after Tausch's blasphemy, some might say, yesterday on our program. How is this debate about which side of the ball is closer to championship level faring on the text portion of the carbless talk and text line, 844-770-3776? Hunter?
Well, one of our texters, and if you should text in with your name as well, so this is just the 414. First, he asked if the defense would have been even better had Goody not traded Rasul Douglas. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting question. And then later, realizing that 414 number is not a big Goody fan, also said Philly's defense is better than ours because their GM is better and trades up to get elite talent from Georgia while Goody sits on his hands.
Well, they got talent from Georgia. They've drafted 3 guys in the first round from Georgia. Not one that fell the way the defensive tackle did. But the fact of the matter is that if you hate Goody, then that's a pretty good take. I don't know if this is the hill to die on argumentatively about Goody. It seems to me that they've done a pretty good job of improving the talent on that side of the ball. So I'm not sure. This sounds like someone that feels about the same about Goody as retired Navy fella feels about Tausch.
So, Jason, it's a good point, and I think we have to be fair. I've said in the past that Goody's a top 5 GM. I still believe that. Howie Roseman just put together one of the best draft classes we've seen. He has guys everywhere making big impacts. And I think one of the things we've seen over the last couple of years, and it started really with Tampa with Tommy B, they draft a stud right tackle. And with Tom Brady, you needed that. Tristan Wirfs is probably one of the best tackles in the league.
Yeah.
You have to have your draft classes pay out if you're going to continue to go young. And, hopefully with Cooper and obviously Evan Williams, you feel good, but they weren't the guys. They had Cooper DeJean come in, and when he stepped in, defense got a lot better. Quintavian, I don't remember his last name. The corner.
Quinyon Mitchell?
Another guy. Good year. And then you start just looking at what Howie Roseman has done. He's got the veterans. I can't argue. I am a good stand. I'm very upfront about that. Howie Roseman's done a better job building out a roster.
Yeah, he also got Zach Bond. And look, this is, again, he deserves credit.
Where did you get Bond from? The California Penal League?
Zach Bond is playing this season on a 1-year, $3.5 million deal.
That would have been worth a flyer.
He is a first-team All-Pro.
He's going to get like an extra $17 million a year.
Yeah, he earned himself some big-time money.
He's a deporter.
There's no question that Cooper DeJean has come in once he started actually playing on defense, right? He didn't start right away being a key part of their defensive approach. He is their defense was not great early in the season, by the way. They were decent, and then they hit their stride, and they've been really good since. That's why they are where they are. Obviously, Jalen Carter, who, if it's not for If it's not for that tragic car accident where they were drag racing, he's potentially the number one overall pick in that draft. They got him, ninth?
Yeah, he's a dog.
He is a fantastic player. That said, they did also beat the Commanders after losing to Kobe Dean in the playoff game against the Packers with Oren Burks at linebacker, who has played well for them in being forced into the lineup. That did not happen in Green Bay. That is a Goody draft pick, but he never became the player that they expected him to. He was a special teams guy. Yeah. So their defense, they've got a lot of talent on defense. Totally agree. I look at the Packers depth chart, and I don't know what their defensive line is going to look like. I don't know how much they're counting on guys in year 2 of the system with a new defensive line coach of having a big jump. But that group has to be better. They fired their defensive line coach for a reason. It wasn't because Jason Rebrovich isn't a nice guy. They weren't good enough. And whether or not that was coaching or whether that's overestimating the level of talent or – look, you and I love Kenny Clark. He is one of my favorites on this team. But he did not play up to his contract or up to expectations. He got a $70 million extension, 37.5 of it guaranteed, and he had 1 sack. He did not play well enough. You can't – Tausch, help me understand this. How hard is it for you to be good when the guys that you pay to be good aren't good enough? Because that's the argument to be made about Kenny Clark, about Rashawn Gary. If you want to use first-round draft picks, you can throw Lucas Van Ness into that mix, right? Devontae Wyatt got off to a good start, then had the ankle injury, and was kind of a non-factor for a large chunk of the season when he even did come back. So if your prime players don't play like prime players, how hard is it for you to be good? Because they were good in spite of that.
You need your big-time players to make big-time plays in big-time games. That's another old saying, but you have to have your dogs be dogs. There's a reason guys get paid a certain amount of money, and with that comes big expectations. And obviously, this year you could say what you want. The defensive line was not up to what they needed, and their stars were just guys in the grand scheme of things. Kenny Clark was not the Viking killer, I always call him, because he just blew up the interior part of the Minnesota Vikings offensive line for years. Rashawn Gary, the playoff game against San Francisco, had that right tackle just on skates. And for whatever reason, there's injury, there's getting old, I don't know. We didn't see that consistently enough. And then you're asking other guys, Brenton Cox and Anik Barre and other guys to elevate when there should be more supplemental. You try to figure out what is going to work. Carl Brooks, I do believe there's talent there. I think figuring that piece out with adding, they are going to have to add to that level and to that group and get a spark. Because when you have those high-priced guys, they need to perform higher than what we saw this last year.
Hunter, I saw a text message come up on the screen, but I'm so far away from the television I couldn't read it.
It was from Chef Ed, and one of the things he mentioned in it was that he's not a fan of Kenny Clark, and that the secondary also needs some help there. So it was just, as you guys were literally talking about Kenny Clark, I threw that up there.
I think that the defense is not at a championship level. Again, neither do we, but it's closer. I have never been a fan of Kenny Clark, and the secondary needs help at cornerback. Goody needs to make some changes and not try to run it back. Kenny Clark had 7.5 sacks in 2023 playing in a 3-4 system. He had never played in a 4-3 before, and it showed. He wasn't as good. And I will be the first one to raise my hand and say that I completely failed to understand what the transition was going to be like, because everyone was giddy about, so much more aggressive and getting upfield instead of read and react. I thought if there was one group that was going to thrive in the change of system, it was going to be the guys up front. And that was not the case. Tausch, my question for you is, why was I so wrong? Because I was wrong.
I mean, were you? Because the big things you're looking for, stat-wise, sacks and TFLs and turnovers, those numbers all went up, did they not?
Yeah, but from the defensive line group, I don't think it did.
Well, I mean, all those things work hand in hand. I am not arguing that the defensive line had a great season, but there were games. The big thing I have is 4 down in what they were doing. We didn't see enough of that. We didn't see enough one-on-one winning. But the defense as a whole did what we hoped. They did create more turnovers. They did get after the quarterback better. And they had more TFLs. That's what the Jeff Hafley defense was supposed to be.
Yeah, I will. I'll look at the game-by-game numbers of TFLs, because that is obviously an important component of what they're doing defensively. I feel like Edgerrin Cooper was getting many of them, though. We'll get to a couple more of your texts. We'll see where the poll question is. I've been informed by the fine people at KBN that they posted the exact same poll after their exchange and after their critique of Tausch yesterday. We'll tell you where their poll currently stands with 3 hours left in their balloting and see how it compares to ours. Want to remind you, though, that when it comes to Associated Bank, obviously you know that they are the official bank of the Packers. I've been telling you that for years. They've been the official bank of the Packers for years. In fact, they were part of the founding of the Green Bay Packers way back in 1919. That's how far back Associated Bank goes with the Packers. But there's so much more to being a customer at Associated Bank than just getting your nifty Packers checks and your Packers debit MasterCard and your 10% off the Packers Pro Shop in-store and online. Those are 3 perks that I don't even take advantage of. But I know I've got credit monitoring. I know I've got early pay with my deposits. And I know I've got the best customer service in the industry. What more could I ask for from a bank? They are there for me. I just got a text yesterday during the show from Ben Sorensen, avid listener to the program. I got to go in. I got a new account that I wanted to start up. I'm going to come in and sign up for all the paperwork and everything else to get that started.
How much money are you putting in that account? How much money is in that one?
Not as much as I would like to have to put into that account right about now, but that's another story for another day.
Okay. 529? You doing a 529?
I've got 2 of those, actually.
Nice.
Trying to make sure the girls are ready for college. I don't know if I've put enough in at that. But again, that's why I've got Ben Sorensen and not Tausch handling my finances. Go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. We'll check back in on the poll question. Then we'll get ready for the topic that Tausch has been dying to get to at the top of the 11 o'clock hour. That's all still ahead. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Madison's new home of Milwaukee Brewers baseball.
Churio, a high fly ball. Back, track, bye, baseball!
100.5 ESPN, your new home of the Milwaukee Brewers. You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhoffels. Test Rest, a Beauty Rest black mattress for your chance to win a dream vacation to Hawaii. Queen Beauty Rest mattresses start at just $3.99 only at Steinhoffels. Not one, but 2. Former Badger linebackers Zach Bond and Leo Chanel will be in the big game in the Big Easy. No matter who comes out as the victor, Barry Alvarez calls this a win for the Wisconsin program.
Those are our guys. And I love when you have Wisconsin players out on the field representing us and playing in the big time like that. That's impressive, and it's an added interest for me, and I'm sure for a lot of fans. It's fun to watch the games, but when you have a Badger right in the mix, it even makes it more interesting.
Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at PellaWI.com.
Just announced 0.99% APR for 60 months on select new 2024 Audis. Eligible models include the Q4 e-trons, Q4 e-tron Sportbacks, and the Q8 e-trons. No down payment required. Monthly payments equal $1,667 per thousand financed. All offers require qualified credit through Audi Financial Services. Offer ends February 3rd, 2025. Stop in and test drive today. Check out AudiMadison.com and see current inventory and specials. Start your adventure at Audi Madison today, off the Beltline and Rimrock Road.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
And that was my mindset all year. Involve Giannis every single day.
Gruber Law Offices presents Thanalysis.
There've never been another person like me.
A podcast from Thanasis Antetokounmpo.
So why would I try to change?
Also supported by Carbless, premium ready-to-drink cocktails.
I just got to involve Giannis.
And Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee.
There've never been another Giannis throughout the history of the game.
Subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
I remember the nights when we were young, dumb, and wild and free. When I closed my eyes, I could see you in my sweatshirt.
Continuing our conversation about where the Packers' offense and defense are, and I want to apologize because, as you know, Tausch, whenever I'm outside of my basement, I'm a little bit out of sorts. And I know Jeff and Madison called to talk about how he thought the offense is closer to championship level. I would have liked to have heard that, but I didn't get to his call, and he had something else to do, so he dropped. Here is where the polling currently stands from KBN's poll yesterday. Which Packers unit is closer to championship level, the offense or the defense? Defense 71%, offense 29%. Our poll, which is worded almost but not entirely the same. On which side of the ball do you think the Packers are closer to being championship level or Super Bowl level? The Jordan Love-led offense or the Jeff Hafley-led defense? 73.8% defense, 26.2% offense. So still most, over 70% in both polls saying defense. I would have liked to have heard Jeff's argument because what is the argument on behalf of the offense, do you think?
Josh Jacobs. Run game is better, and you just figure a few things out. Jordan Love's healthy. You pick up a number one wide out. Tucker Kraft got a lot better. There's arguments to be made. But I just again, watching the season, consistency matters. The defense got consistently better, and you make a really good argument that our offense got consistently worse. Look at how we finished the season off offensively, and was it better than what we saw in the beginning of the season?
No.
I don't think so. Like, it was sloppier. The antennas were up, and that's why I picked Philly. When I heard old boy say, sloppy, 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 get it fixed, that's like September stuff. You're saying that in January, that door ain't going to be Katie'd. Tell you that.
I've never heard it delivered quite that way. I don't think their offense got better as the season went on. I think Josh Jacobs got better. And that is, you want to know how. Think about how you were feeling as a Packers fan at this time last year. Today, it was 364 days ago. Last year was not a leap year, was it? Maybe it was. Jeff Hafley, the news broke of Jeff Hafley's hiring on January 31st, 2024. So tomorrow is the one-year anniversary of his hiring.
Isn't February the leap year, though? Isn't February the add? You don't add a 32nd day to January.
But you still would have gone.
You would still need the extra day in the calculation to 365 or 366 days, though.
But it's
last
January.
Year.
It's not
yeah,
February.
but over the course of a year,
you got to go through the February.
Does?
You still go through the February.
February 29.
You still go through the February. If he was hired on the 31st of January, you would have gone through that next February right there. So was there 28 or 29 days in that month? Jason's not talking about this year's February. He's talking about last year's. Normally, Jason isn't the one that needs an interpreter. This is weird.
All right. It is weird. I agree.
Be that as it may, it was 1 day shy of a year ago that the Green Bay Packers hired Jeff Hafley. And how were you feeling?
Year, so it's actually 2 days. That's a shame. So.
I think it's time for you to tell. We had one more day last year then, and you love to go more or less on Prize Picks, which apparently we've got another read for them. And I'll make sure I get a big
Prize Picks,
game in.
The best place to get real money sports action. 10 million members, billions of dollars, and it is simple to play. More or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. And the big game is almost here, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last football game of the season with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash. Use those sports opinions. Make yourself a little cash. You think that the Chiefs, the Kansas City, Mahomes, you think big stuff? Hey, turn your opinions into some real cash. Prize Picks is also giving away a free pick for the big game, where one of the starting quarterbacks, Mahomes, will only need to throw for 1 yard to win. So if you're correct on that, you only need one other projection can win real cash. Check out the promos tab to tail any of our Super Sweat Millie winners big game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes a 3, a 4, a 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. That's probably why they call it the Super Sweat Millie Winners Big Game Lineups. Download the app today. Use that code WI. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code WI. $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks.
Run
your
big
game. That's how Jim Rome would do it right there.
I've heard him do it.
Yeah, he's
not, it's not nearly as powerful as we do it, though. It's more run your game. Drones. Yeah. The 11 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes.
Drones? Yeah, I don't think it's drones.
Clones? What was it?
I don't know. It's leap year. The hell with it. Just say whatever you want. It's leap year.
I think they're clones, not drones. The 11 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
This is former Wisconsin linebacker Chris Orr. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison, a good Karma Brands radio station on Wisconsin.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
What is up, Madison? I'm Hunter Vaughn. Your Sports Center update is brought to you by Tuesday Night Hoops on Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania. All season long, catch the best of area high school basketball games every Tuesday night on 100.5 ESPN and live video streaming free on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Some Packers coaching news breaking today. ESPN's Rob Demovsky reporting that the Packers are planning to hire former Patriots defensive coordinator DeMarcus Covington as their new defensive line coach. And the Packers are promoting Sean Mannion to the quarterback coach position. You can stay up to date on all things Packers related at ESPNWisconsin.com. And speaking of Rob Demovsky, he was on KBN yesterday, and he thinks the Packers Super Bowl window is wide open.
To me, their window is now wide open. Like, from here on out, they have the opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. If they don't do it in that, then I think you're kind of, not that you're starting over, but then I think you've got some problems.
You can hear KBN from 2 to 4 every day right here on ESPN Madison. Hour 3 of Wilde and Tausch starts right now.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. All right, Tausch, you've been chomping. What do you want to get to here?
So, do you have the tweet I sent you? Because you are a great setup guy. You would be the Rick Honeycutt to my Dennis Eckersley. Now, you're just a good setup guy. You're going to come in, you're going to get it out, you're going to set me up. And I have a interesting, I'm just, college football and NCAA, basketball, the whole thing. It's fascinating to me, this flux that we're in. So if you may, Rick, can you set me up with as far as what Nizer Forkerine is up to?
Well, I was only avoiding setting you up because I didn't know how to say his name correctly, which I know you always enjoy when you're put in that position.
Luckily, I'm a student of the game, yes.
So this player's name is again?
Nizer Forkerine.
And he is a cornerback for the Wisconsin
Had a really
Badgers.
good year. Yeah, really, I thought did some nice things this year.
Well, except that USC game kind of got picked on a little bit. Okay.
Dynamite drop in, Monty. So he would like, is he suing or is he just, I think
he wants eligibility.
He's filed a complaint and he is ready in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Wisconsin to.
Is that lacrosse?
That's a great question. I don't know where that is. All I know is that he wants another year of eligibility after having played at Grand Valley State University in 2020. Then that season was canceled. He played 2 more seasons at that school, which is a Division II program. And then he transferred to UW. This is all from my buddy Colton Bartholomew's story in the Wisconsin State Journal today. Then he transferred to UW. He has played now 2 seasons for the Badgers with Tausch calling his games. He played 11 games as a freshman, at GVSU. He played 13 games as a sophomore. So those are significant. That's significant playing time. His last 2 seasons, he played 12 games for the Badgers each of those years. He doesn't think that his D2 experience should count against his eligibility at a D1 program. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of the Wild West that is the transfer portal now. I do know that there were guys that would leave Wisconsin, and I feel like there was a pipeline to Western Illinois because that was one AA at the time.
Aaron,
and you could
have to lose any eligibility.
Right, and you could transfer and be immediately eligible.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some precedent of there being different rules for different levels of football in the NCAA.
Correct, yes.
But what Nizer, still not so sure, Forkerine wants is basically to say, hey, those years that you spent at Grand Valley, they don't count. So you got all kinds of eligibility left at the University of Wisconsin. Now, Tausch, I would ask you for your scouting report because he certainly is draft eligible if he'd like to try and go to the National Football League. But I get the sense that either he's not quite good enough or not ready enough to go. So he's looking to play more football at the college level. Is that an accurate depiction of what we got here?
I think that's probably a fair portrayal of kind of the scenario you're in. But you have to understand now, too, this is no longer the old days. The NCAA doesn't have any jurisdiction. Matter of fact, they have said that the transfer portal doesn't even exist. And that's their own words. So for me, I think what other line of work, and now that we're paying guys, what other line of work can you tell somebody you only, unless it's a politician and they can get reelected, et cetera, et cetera.
Uh-huh.
What other line of work you say you only get to work here for 4 years? Can you tell me a job that is limited by that? Maybe there's some that I'm missing. What job do you only get 4 years?
Yeah, I don't think anything other than being voted into office. The Packers have the mandatory retirement age of 70.
Yeah, that's
so
not
if you
what we're
started
talking
when you
about
were
here,
66, you would only have 4 years.
So now guys are getting 8 and 9 years. We've had an 8 and 9 year player get medical redshirted and everything else. If someone is not good enough to play in the NFL, but can earn $400,000 to $500,000 playing at college, being Van Wilder, why are they forced to stop? It's the university can make their own rules and say, we're going to move along. But if somebody's a really good player, not quite good enough to be a pro, but a great college player, what is going to stop that college player from saying, oh, I'm going to stay? There is literally, and I want someone to tell me a job in the world that will tell you, you only get 3 years and you're gone. Now, there's plenty of jobs that you're not good enough and you're, hey, a deuce is a B. But I don't know what the argument is going to be when Nizer takes this somewhere and they're saying, well, I've said this for a year and a half now. What is going to stop a 28-year-old good offensive lineman, a good corner that can't play in the NFL, and the UFL is paying maybe $100,000? These guys are going to get $300,000-$400,000, get educated. Can you imagine, like, old school? You could end up being like old school. A 28-year-old dude gets a house, ends up getting Snoop Dogg and Vinnie Vaughn to throw parties, run a business, and go play ball. Not bad.
So, just so your position is clear, you're not in support of this, are you?
I'm asking a question. What is stopping someone
I just asked you
from
a
doing
question.
this?
Are you supportive
And
of
I'm
a
asking a
28-year-old?
question back. Listen, man, I want college to be the old days. I don't want guys, I want you to commit and then work and develop. This is no longer what we have. It's irrelevant what I want because that's not the reality. So I can't sit here and tell you that if somebody is going into their 6th year, they are not going to be drafted in the NFL. They are not going to play in the NBA. And they could earn $300 to $400K playing at a university that wants them there. Why shouldn't they be able to do it?
Well, first of all, I understand that the NCAA is not the pantheon of great management or leadership or judgment or anything. At some point, whether it's them or some other conglomerate, someone needs to take control of college athletics for a variety of reasons. We've heard Barry Alvarez talk about this on the Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez and Tarek and Derek. Sooner or later, you just have to have rules. You have to have rules for when you can transfer. You have to have rules for if you're entering into a contract with your NIL deal with the school. You have to have rules for all this, right? We can't, if we're going to be another pro league in college sports, then we need to figure out how we're going to do that. Because in the NFL, there is a window of free agency, and it opens at a specific time. I can't think, there's been a lot of ridiculous things that have happened, but one of them that I thought is at the top of the list is a backup quarterback at Penn State being in position to be playing in a national championship game if the starter gets hurt, or at least in the playoff.
Beat us in the second half.
Correct.
Beat
I saw
us
him
in
play.
the second half
yes,
at Camp
I saw
Randall.
it. Yeah. And in order to
You just
put
flipped me
himself
off.
in the best position.
You just flipped me off?
No, I was itching my head. He entered the transfer portal while his team was in the college football playoff. If that isn't proof for how jacked up college sports are right now, I don't know what is. But yes, do I think that they should have a rule that caps eligibility? They do. They have those rules. Now, COVID threw everything into disarray for a while.
But Jason, I guess the question I have is why?
Well, but if first of all, are we not Forkrian? I still can't say his name. Is trying to cover new ground here, right? Because before this, your eligibility, it didn't matter if it was at a Division II school or not, it counted. And he's trying to change the rules so he can stay in college.
Yeah, and JUCO rules just got changed. JUCO doesn't count now. If you go to a JUCO, it doesn't count for eligibility.
Right. So, again, now, not everyone is Cam McCormick, and you may say, well, who is Cam McCormick? Cam McCormick is a former Oregon tight end who was a freshman in 2016, and I don't know if he ended up playing for the Ducks in 2023 or not ultimately, but he was given a 9th year of eligibility because he'd had a bunch of health problems and COVID and transfers and everything else. The bottom line is this is yet another example of how the NCAA or whoever the powers that be are going to be in college sports need to figure out what the rules are going to be. And if you want to say that if you play at NAIA, Division III, Division II, what about Division I AA or FCS, I guess it's called now, are those going to count or not against your eligibility? The NCAA has to figure that out. As you pointed out, the JUCO stuff already doesn't count. So you can go to a JUCO for 3 years. Mm-hmm. Or multiple JUCOs and still have 4 years of college eligibility at a Division I school. But again, I think what you're trying to do, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, is demonstrate the ridiculousness of this. Because as a Badger fan and as the radio analyst voice, you want him on that field because he's good. And if he wants to come back and the Badgers would want him back, you are in support of him coming back. Am I wrong?
Certainly. And my question is, what other field of business in the world are you
right, but they're also
not allowed
students. Right?
So what?
Well, I'm just saying that it's not the
You can
can't
stay
just say
in
it's
school,
a regular
Jason. Van
world
Wilder
job.
was in school for 9 years.
That's a movie.
You can stay in school forever.
It's true.
If the Daily Cardinal, that's where you wrote, right? Or is it the Badger Herald?
Badger Herald.
You were at the Badger Herald, and you're following, you were killing it. And you're taking on this whole new life. And they're paying you, let's just say it easy, $100K to write for the Badger Herald. And you graduate, and they say, you know what, Jason, I know you're moving on. Well, so-and-so is only going to pay you $60. We want you to keep doing this. You're going to say, no, my eligibility's up at the Badger Herald. I can't do that anymore. Really? You're really going to do that?
So I guess my question is, if we allow for everything that is not Division I or FBS level football, because we're talking football here, not basketball. Because, hey, Brad Davison, I'm sure, would have loved to have played 8 seasons instead of 6 for the Badgers, right?
And if Wisconsin didn't want him, they didn't have to bring it back. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I guess, yeah. What I'm asking is that this what is trying to be done here is to have years of eligibility not count because they were not at an FBS school. So let's just say the NCAA says if it's not at the FBS level, it doesn't count. And you get 4 years. Everyone gets 4 years of FBS level eligibility. And then you can redshirt for a year. That would give you 5. You can have medical redshirt situations, which we've had forever. That could get you an additional year. But we are not, if you are healthy and you play, you are only allowed 4 years. Are you suggesting that the NCAA should not have that rule in place because other jobs in the rest of the free world do not have term limits other than politicians?
I will say this. Had you asked me this question 10 years ago, I would say there's strict rules. This is how it is. The fact that things now you're getting paid and you're in this position in a free market society, I don't understand. You're going to, now it's your right as an organization to say you only get 5 years. That's what you get. There's already loopholes and gray areas and everything else. But I do have a hard time understanding if the University of Wisconsin wants you back and knows you're going to help them win, and your best move financially is to stay, why you can't stay, I can't get my head wrapped around that. No.
Right. So what you're arguing, let's take the specifics of this case out of it. And you are let's just say you're Mark Tauscher, who arrives at the University of Wisconsin as a walk-on offensive lineman and redshirts his first season and doesn't get a ton of opportunities. But by the time he is a senior, he is a starter at right tackle, and he's paving the way for Ron Dane to set an NCAA record for rushing yards. You think that you should be allowed, after you've used up your eligibility according to the traditional concept, you should be able to decide that I, Mark Tauscher, I don't know if I'm going to get drafted. The Seahawks are telling me I'm going to get drafted in the 4th round. The Packers are telling me I'm a 7th rounder. I'm not sure. I should have the right to stay and just take clap for credit and rocks for jocks and whatever else I need to continue my academic career. I should be able to stay at Wisconsin as long as Wisconsin wants me and I want to be here and I'm making some money off my NIL deal. My agreement with Wando's to support their business. You think you should
tell me why I shouldn't be? If the University of Wisconsin comes to me and says, we don't have a guy that we feel like is good enough to replace you, you don't have any other options, we'll give you X to come back and play. And again, the difference now is there's money involved. This is no longer amateur. So let's stop the facade, and that's my question. So, yeah, you're going to tell me because some arbitrary rule is in place that you're going to say I can't earn $500K? I'm not forcing anybody to pay me that. They're offering it to me, and I'm not able to accept it? Yeah, I'm open to hearing arguments and why that's not the case. I can't find another job in the world. This is no longer the 1980s and 90s, guys. Like, it's not. It's a new world. No. It's a new era. And you have to figure that out. I am, first, just for the record, I want it to be the old days where you develop and you go to the pros. And if you don't, you go find a job. But I just think it's crazy. If I work my tail off, I'm some skinny young freshman that can't play a lick, and I develop, and all of a sudden I'm getting to be okay by the time I'm a junior or a senior, and all of a sudden I get to play, but my eligibility runs out, and no, the NFL, I'm not ready. They're not going to pick me up. I'm forced to go play at Michigan, the Panthers, for $75K when Wisconsin's going to give me $500 to start at right tackle for them. What world does that make any sense?
Yeah. Again, I think those of us that understand that the old days are gone, but that the new days need to be policed more effectively, there's a reason why we have rules. And while your argument that no other job in the world has term limits other than politics, then make it the version of politics in sports. And there are term limits for how long you can be a college athlete.
Certainly. Yep.
And they can choose
right
to
now
do that.
There's not. What are they?
But
what are they right now?
But this is what, for those of us that, and we've had this conversation many times, for those of us that care about college athletics and are wistful for the old days of just teams, paying players under the table and cheating, as opposed to what we have now.
SEC's not quite as dominant now, since that's not the case.
No, interesting.
Just a side note.
Odd. Yeah, it's different here. I want rules in place. I want timelines for transfers and the transfer portal. I want a salary cap.
Everybody does, Jason.
For every school.
Everybody wants that.
And so if we're going to institute rules to save this institution we call college athletics, then I think there should be a guideline on what eligibility looks like too, and how much you can have. And all those things should matter. And you have contracts just like the pros do. They could be 2 years with a player option or a school option, whatever you want to do. But between what they've got going on with the guy that enrolled at Miami and now a guy who wants to say those years at a Division II school shouldn't count to my eligibility because I want to stay at Wisconsin, Wisconsin is at the epicenter of the ridiculousness of college athletics. That you've heard Barry Alvarez. Everyone, Greg Gard has used it. We've used it. The Wild West. I think the Wild West at least had more clear rules about how you were, when you were able to draw your pistol when you were doing a showdown, right? I just don't understand this. There are no rules. It's no holds barred. And so I think if they are going to survive and they're going to figure this out and make it equitable, salary cap, specific window for transfers, and yes, there should be eligibility rules. That's what I want to see. I don't know if that will happen. We need to play trivia. I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. I've been waiting all day for this because it is, in fact, Gerald Ford trivia.
You know what? He maybe never would have been president if the same rules. He would have probably, because he had to wait a while to play at Michigan, he maybe would have still been playing first base at Michigan if they threw him some NIL because he wasn't quite good enough to go to the big leagues. Lord knows what would have happened.
He did turn down the NFL to be the boxing coach at Yale.
That is not one of the questions.
Is that one of the trivia questions?
No, he wrote them. He knows. I'm reading the questions. I can also speak to this. It does not say which president he was. What number president was Gerald Ford? How does the resident
38
expert on Gerald
38.
Ford not know that he was the 38th president?
Look, there's a lot going on, okay? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, so he was the 38th president. Half of that is 19. Caller 19 for Wilde and Tausch Gerald Ford trivia. Caller 19, 844-770-3776, 770-3776. Caller 19 plays Gerald Ford trivia coming up next after Tausch tells us about Quick Trip.
Well, life's busy. Quick Trip gets it. Whether you're craving a fresh coffee, tasty bakery treat, or a quick grab-and-go meal or a snack, Quick Trip is your go-to for variety and quality, fast service. Quick Trip's team is all about making your day easier and better, from clean restrooms to fresh groceries and everything in between. Quick Trip's got you covered. So they got ATMs, free air, and car wash. It's been hot, warm out. Everybody over at Quick Trip getting their car washed. And you can also check out Quick Trip's appetizers. Crispy tornadoes packed with bold fillings, or zesty mini tacos that are bite-sized, totally irresistible. Don't forget to take home and bake a freshly made cheese mountain pizza. $9.99 for traditional, $6.99 thin crust. Plus, the Quickery white bread, it's only 99 cents a loaf. Apples, oranges, and pears, oh my, 3 for $1.49. You make dinner a breeze by grabbing Kitchen Cravings 80% lean ground beef, 16 ounces for $2.99. Download the Quick Rewards app. Take advantage of all Quick Trip has to offer. Order ahead for pickup or curbside delivery. Quick Trip. We'll see you next time.
Trivia's next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson from Madison Weight Loss, the program that I experienced last year from the middle of August to the middle of October. And over 60 days, I was able to drop 40 pounds of unnecessary, unwanted fat simply by changing my diet. No surgeries, no injections, no intense workout regimens. All it was the natural, healthy approach to weight loss, just changing what I eat. 40 pounds I was able to drop thanks to the team and the expert coaching and guidance with Madison Weight Loss. And now this week, my wife Becca and I are out on a cruise, and I'm feeling good, I'm living good, and it's all thanks to Madison Weight Loss. I'm able to fit into clothes I couldn't even fit into 6 years ago, the last time we went on a big tropical vacation. This is amazing, and it's all thanks to Madison Weight Loss. Schedule a free consultation in person or virtually at MadisonWeightLoss.com and see how they can help you achieve your weight loss goals. I understand the turn of the year, everyone sets their weight loss goals, and you might be already struggling to try and achieve them. Contact the team. Trust me, it really works. MadisonWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com. Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, where the number 7 just got luckier. You already know how much I love Pizza Hut, but have you heard about Pizza Hut's $7 Deal Lovers menu? Enjoy all your Pizza Hut favorites like pizza, boneless wings, melts, cheese sticks, and more for just $7 each when you buy 2 or more. With the $7 Deal Lovers menu, you don't have to choose between great taste and great value. You can have them both. Order on the app or online at pizzahut.com. The $7 Deal Lovers menu, only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
As a bull rider, I prefer to do things single-handedly. That's why I love the UW Credit Union app. Doggy! It lets me check accounts, make transfers and more on the go. And if I need an extra hand, UW Credit Union has convenient local branches. Yippee! So, if you want simple mobile banking, mosey on over to UW Credit Union. They're here for every y'all. Federally insured by NCUA.
Is your computer so slow you can hardly use it? Does it have blue screens, malware, viruses, reboots, hardware crashes? Sound familiar? Computers will have problems, and when they do, you need the computer experts at Madison Computer Works. Every day we help home users and businesses keep their computers and networks running smoothly. For solutions to your computer problems, call the pros at 231-8000, and we'll turn this into this. Madison Computer Works. Computers that work for you.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Ordering pizza for game day can be a tough call to make. Do you get a pizza, or are you craving some wings? At Pizza Hut, there's only one right answer. Get both. Introducing Pizza Hut's original stuffed crust and wings bundle. Get a large one-topping stuffed crust pizza and 16 boneless wings with 2 sauces for only $19.99. An unbeatable value that can feed the whole crew. Perfect for game days, family nights, or any gathering. Order on the app or online at pizzahut.com today. Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
When you've been seriously injured, you'll need a team with knowledge and experience to get the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
You're listening to Madison's home for Milwaukee Bucks basketball.
Lillard, three-pointer for the lead. It's Dame time.
Madison's home of Dame Time is 100.5 ESPN.
Time for trivia. Although the Milwaukee version of the carbless talk and text line, I got Chris saying, ask Mark if he feels that when NIL goes to high school, will it be cool if players no longer go to college and just stay in high school for 8 years?
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, man. I'm telling you, I don't want this, guys, gals. All I'm saying is, as we're currently constituted, how is this fair? Like, I get it. I want things to be, but that's not the world we're living in.
Dusty in Partyville. What Tausch is arguing is bad for college football, but also bad for NFL because the guy who stays for multiple years blocks younger players from coming up and developing. Again, I just want to make sure people understand. I don't think you're arguing for this. I think what you're doing, because I'm familiar with your work, is that you are pointing out a flaw in the system. And that is that if you're going to treat these guys like employees, which is seemingly the mentality, there are very few jobs where you are given a term limit to your employment. Now, people do sign contracts and then become free agents, right? Like in the TV industry, I don't know about radio. I don't have a contract personally, but maybe, big superstars in radio do that sort of thing with different companies. But you get to the end of your contract, I know as a TV anchor person, for example, they either re-up you or you're done with that station and you start looking for another job somewhere else, right? And some people choose not to sign extensions because they want the freedom. There's a lot of folks that have come through Green Bay that are very talented TV people that had aspirations for bigger markets. And so there was a finite end to their careers because they signed the contract and they or the television station chose not to re-sign them. And I suppose that would apply to college football as well. All right, let's get to trivia.
And Jason, and I guess just to put a bow on it, the market will dictate. Right? The market will dictate, and I don't want to see a 27-year-old defensive end going against an 18-year-old redshirt freshman. I ain't good for anybody. So if you want to get your sport in order, definitely put some limits, do some things to figure it out, but we're not there. There's guys that are 26, 27 years old playing against 18-year-olds. I don't want that.
Yeah.
But it's here.
Or certainly the possibility of it is here based on the lack of oversight. That
how old is that quarterback for Oregon? How old is that Oregon quarterback this year?
36. Yeah, no, I don't know. All right, let's get to Bob in Brookfield and play some trivia. Bob, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm okay. I think I agree with you guys, though. The golden age of college athletics is behind us, and it's really sad.
Yeah, I just don't. I just don't have a lot. Sort of like newspapers, I don't have a lot of faith that we have our smartest people figuring out the best way forward for a challenged environment. I always rely on people smarter than me.
There's nobody figuring out.
Yeah,
there's nobody figuring out the way forward. It's been like that, right?
It's unfortunately we've seen. It's not like we haven't seen this coming, guys. The Ed O'Bannon lawsuit was 15 years ago, I think.
Yeah,
we knew it was coming.
I'm sure Gerald Ford saw it coming during his presidency.
Put your head in the sand. It'll all work itself out. How's that going?
Yeah, that sounds like the newspaper approach. All right, Gerald Ford trivia is the category. Question 1 for you, Bob, is this. Who is the only president to become an Eagle Scout? Was it Abe Lincoln, Jimmy Carter, or Gerald Ford?
Let's go with Gerald Ford.
It would have been really gutsy on Hunter's part to call it Gerald Ford trivia and have Jimmy Carter be the correct answer there, but no, it is indeed Gerald Ford.
R.I.P.
Indeed.
R.I.P.
I think all three of those people are dead in this list. Question 2. Gerald Ford was one of 4 presidents to live into their 90s. Which one of these presidents did not live into his 90s? Jimmy Carter, William Henry Harrison, or Ronald Reagan? Ronald Reagan, the actor?
Oh, my. Wow. Let's go with Harrison.
I suppose Jane Wyman is the first lady. Yes, you are correct. William Henry Harrison. God, I love
God, you have a lot of references. I don't have a clue what the heck
That's
you're
Back
talking
to the Future.
Yeah,
Come
I
on.
don't know that
Marty tells
Yeah, you
Doc
gotta get
Brown who
cultured,
the
Tausch.
president is.
Come on. I don't know.
Oh, my.
And Jack Benny is Secretary of the Treasury. All right, question 3. Bob, as your 2 for 2 thus far. Who is the only Michigan football player to have his number retired but not be an All-American? Is it Desmond Howard, Gerald Ford, or Rashawn Gary?
Oh, God. There's no way in hell it's Rashawn Gary. We'll go with Gerald Ford again.
Jeez. Oh, wow.
I want to be very clear when I say this. I'm extremely appreciative of the producers that step into the breach when Jesse takes one of his many days off and now goes on a cruise. Hunter, if you call it Gerald Ford trivia, and 2 of the 3 questions, Gerald Ford is one of the options and is the correct answer, do you feel like you might be giving away the I'm not suspending you like other people did. Because I asked for this. In fact, I begged for it. But I did not envision Gerald Ford trivia to then have Gerald Ford be the answers. I figured they would be questions about Gerald Ford. That you...
I think he did a fine job.
Yeah, see? Bob likes it.
Well, of course, Bob likes it. He got basically 2 free correct answers. Bob, you got all 3 right. Way to nail that William Henry Harrison question. The only one that didn't have Gerald Ford as an option. We've got 4 entries into tomorrow's drawing. We appreciate you playing and your loyalty to the show, buddy. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. The only good thing of the pandemic was I started listening to you guys every day. So,
God, we
thanks.
appreciate that. Yeah,
All
thank
right,
you
love
very
you
much.
guys.
That was a challenging time, and I'm glad that we were able to be a distraction during that time because I know it was tough for a lot of people. All right, we got Whoa Hunter coming up, and it'll be all topics that relate to the name Hunter. Hunter the TV show. Dear Hunter. Tausch, before we get to that, you got to tell us about Kohler Services.
Oh, yes, indeed. If you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family-owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel with no payment financing until OT26. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Whoa Hunter is next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
Hello, I'm John Hayes, the owner of Goodman's Jewelers. It's been my pleasure to serve this community from this incredible store for over 4 decades. We stand upon high standards and classic traditions, pillars like honesty and integrity. Stop into Goodman's Jewelers, the longest-standing full-service jewelry store in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
There's no safer place to feel dumb than Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe.
I would love to play court on Mr. Irrelevant.
What do you mean play court? You want a mock trial?
Yeah, mock trial. Yeah.
Who's on trial for what?
Me.
For being a dumbass?
Yeah, right.
Oh, guilty. I solved it.
Yeah. Just start playing back old shows.
The evidence is monumentous.
Mr. Irrelevant, live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12:30 on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Purchase your tickets, grab some friends, and get to the Sylvie on Monday, February 24th for Andy North Trivia Night, presented by Exact Sciences. Enjoy a fun and inspiring evening of trivia, music, food, and refreshments while helping to raise money for UW Carbone Cancer Center. This fun and inspiring event is hosted by Andy North, and in addition to the trivia, the lineup includes a silent auction, celebrity appearances, and prizes. Doors open at 6 p.m. Visit AndyNorthandFriends.com to buy your tickets. Past year's events have sold out quickly, so get your tickets today.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Watch every ESPN Madison show live every day. Subscribe to ESPN Madison on YouTube for live video of every show and exclusive content. Just search ESPN Madison.
Slow down on Monday, not a sound. On Wednesday, might get loud. On Friday.
All right, the time has come. Following up Gerald Ford trivia with Whoa Hunter.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa Nelly
on Wilde and Tausch.
All right, gentlemen, because I may have spent more time on this than I did on Gerald Ford trivia, we're still going to do blind resumes because I promised you that as well today.
Yes, you did.
So if those of you that can, turn your attention to the video screens. Some Packers trade targets.
Ooh.
Player A has 9 tackles for loss last year, 15 quarterback hits, and 7.5 sacks. Meanwhile, player B had 17 tackles for a loss, 20 quarterback hits, and 7.5 sacks as well. So, guys, who do you think's player A? Who's player B? And which one would you want?
Okay, I'm going to say player A is Max Crosby. Player B is TJ Watt.
I'm going to say that one of them. I'm going to say player A is, and again, 9 tackles for loss, 15 quarterback hits, 7.5 sacks. Player B, 17 tackles for loss, 20 quarterback hits, 7.5 sacks. Player A is Khalil Mack. Player B is Max Crosby.
Well, Jason, you're correct on player B. Player A was Rashawn Gary.
Changes your outlook a little bit.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think Khalil Mack actually had even fewer sacks. For those that are very excited about Khalil Mack coming around and being available,
have to trade for Khalil Mack. He's a free agent too.
He is set to be 34 years old in February. And last season, great name, right? Great name.
That doesn't sound goody. That doesn't
It
sound
does not
goody-ish
sound
to
very
me.
goody-ish at all, especially considering that last season he had 6 sacks. I hope I didn't ruin another blind resume, Hunter.
You did not. As we move on, player A, 992 total yards. They scored 5 touchdowns on 108 targets on the season. Player B, less yards at 806, less touchdowns with 4, but more targets, 123.
Okay, I think player B's Jaden Reed, right?
So that's total yards from scrimmage?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm guessing player A is T. Higgins. That would be my guess.
T. Higgins would be the logical guess on this. So, yeah, I'll agree with Tausch. Circle gets the square?
Well, you guys were both wrong. Player A, Deebo Samuel. Player B, DK Metcalf. And I had to use the picture of him from the ESPN, the magazine. I think that was the body issue, maybe, that he took that picture. But
those are some abs right there, boy.
Yeah. And those two floating around, so thought that it was just kind of interesting for some potential receivers.
For the record, I don't want Deebo. DK Metcalf would be intriguing to me. Deebo, I think he's, I don't even know how old he is, but he's beaten down. Like, he has been injured. They put him at running back for a year, and I think that season beat him down. I would not want to go down that road. The DK Metcalf, I'm intrigued enough to hear more about what that might look like, but the correct answer here is picking up Tay Adams is what we need to do.
I do know this. Goody, when he was telling the story about drafting Elton Jenkins, mentioned both of those players whose blind resumes you posted as guys they considered and were available around when they were going to be picking, and they stayed put, and those guys went off the board, and they ended up with Elton Jenkins, which worked out pretty well, by the way. All right, we got time for one more if you got one more.
Yeah, we can do one more. This one is, we're going to go to the NBA side since the trade deadline is February 6th for the Bucks. So player A, 11.9 points per game, 4.6 assists a game, and 3.8 rebounds. Player B, 24 points, 4.5 assists, and 4.8 rebounds.
Well, I defer to our resident NBA expert on this one.
So I think Zach LaVine and Jimmy Butler are the two players that you put in here.
You've got one of them correct.
Okay.
Player A is Chris Middleton. Player B, Zach LaVine. So I've seen some fans on Twitter saying they don't want to get rid of Chris with him coming off the bench, but when you're doubling up the number of points for his production and then you get still the assists and rebounds, I thought that would be a solid trade if they can make that happen to get Zach LaVine.
I thought they're getting De'Aaron
Jason,
Fox.
are you on board with that?
I think from talking to people who know much more about the NBA than I do, which is why there's a Packers-centric show for those asking in the YouTube comments, it sounds to me like we've reached the end of the line with Chris Middleton in terms of his body breaking down and his what his injuries over the years have robbed him of. All-time great Buck will have his number retired, but again, I think they're probably. I was under the impression they were trying to move Dame. Is that not true?
Who gave you that impression?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they did that.
Homer?
Yeah, that's my go-to for all insightful things.
Well,
Homer, which you'll
there
get
you go.
tomorrow as our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. We'll wrap things up next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Packers.
The lesson to be learned is you can't be a 7 seed.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
They got to be better, and if they're not, then next year will be a disappointment.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN. You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's home for craft beer and pub food since 1994. Find the Great Dane nearest you and check out the menu at greatdanepub.com. Not one, but two. Former Badger linebackers Zach Bond and Leo Chanel will be in the big game in the Big Easy. No matter who comes out as the victor, Barry Alvarez calls this a win for the Wisconsin program.
Those are our guys. And I love when you have Wisconsin players out on the field representing us and playing in the big time like that. That's impressive, and it's an added interest for me, and I'm sure for a lot of fans. When you have a Badger right in the mix, it even makes it more interesting.
The Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez, streaming Monday nights at 6 on ESPN Madison's YouTube channel.
Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at PellaWI.com.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson from Madison Weight Loss, the program that I experienced last year from the middle of August to the middle of October. And over 60 days, I was able to drop 40 pounds of unnecessary, unwanted fat simply by changing my diet. No surgeries, no injections, no intense workout regimens. All it was the natural, healthy approach to weight loss, just changing what I eat. 40 pounds I was able to drop thanks to the team and the expert coaching and guidance with Madison Weight Loss. And now this week, my wife Becca and I are out on a cruise, and I'm feeling good, I'm living good, and it's all thanks to Madison Weight Loss. I'm able to fit into clothes I couldn't even fit into 6 years ago, the last time we went on a big tropical vacation. This is amazing, and it's all thanks to Madison Weight Loss. Schedule a free consultation in person or virtually at MadisonWeightLoss.com and see how they can help you achieve your weight loss goals. I understand the turn of the year, everyone sets their weight loss goals, and you might be already struggling to try and achieve them. Contact the team. Trust me, it really works. MadisonWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
It's the 2024 model closeout sale at Zimbrick Chevrolet Sun Prairie. Save $11,500 on a 24 Blazer EVRS with 0.9% APR available. Save $2,000 on a 24 Colorado Crew Cab work truck. Save $54.56 on a 24 Silverado HD 2500 Crew Cab 4x4 with 3.9 APR available. Hurry, these closeout deals won't last for long. Visit Zimbrick Chevrolet Sun Prairie and ZimbrickChevrolet.com for details. Offers end January 31st.
At Grunberg Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Grunberg Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
We're on the Packers.
The Green Bay Packers simply couldn't beat the elite talent in the NFC.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
They were good. They were not good enough.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
All right, we're way late. The show's supposed to be over. This is why getting your information from smart journalists is why it's important. ESPN's Bobby Marks, who does a fantastic job for them, was very clear in his piece recently that Giannis and Lillard are not trade candidates. That leaves the Bucks with Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, and Pat Connaughton as their, and I'm quoting here, most valuable assets. So I was wrong about that. I was right about most of the other things we talked about today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Homer will be in as our cousin sub of the day for me. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch? Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial